Why does it mute itself every time this happens? Oh my god, dude. Why does this always happen? Yeah, that was the I hope you enjoyed the first stream of the week. That was your replacement stream for the Monday stream, just in case. We need to still have freaking four streams a week consistently, so that's why, that's why. Do we have an emote for German internet? We have the 25-minute stare. We have the 25-minute stare. Do you personally like the Ishizu Millers? Oh yeah, after this weekend, I have a very special relationship to the Ishizu Millers. Well, yeah, we'll talk about that too. What happened in round 7? Oh, don't worry, you will find out. Although I'm not sure if you want to find out, because it's pretty fucked up, but we'll talk about it. All right, anyways. 5 Pearly topped apparently, but Konami did a little trolling. You mean they messed up the percentages? I mean, okay. Did you see Konami EU leaked your deck? Yeah. I honestly, people made a much bigger deal of that on like the Twitter page than it actually was. I didn't mind it much. Like, that was not really an issue, I don't think. Steiny, thank you for the 11. Appreciate that. Thank you. Also, in general, I'm just wasting some time before everyone has refreshed the stream, but I just got an email like a couple days ago. I don't know exactly when it was, but I am now a partner plus, apparently, which is just because it was only possible because of all your support. So thank you so much for that. Appreciate that. Plus what? I don't know, dude. Plus, that's what it's called. Broken Boy, thank you for the 9 months. Appreciate you. All right. I guess we will talk about my tournament experience first things first. And then we look at the overall metagame. Let me see. All right. So, as you guys could obviously tell from the Konami Twitter, I was a bounty duelist this weekend, which is a pretty cool thing they do, where they pick a couple of people, and when you beat them in the tournament, you get packs, which is kind of cool. And then they went around and took photos of everybody who was a bounty duelist, and then they posted them on Twitter, and that's where people find out that I ultimately decided to play the Pearly deck, because you can tell on this image that I'm playing Pearly. Which people in the comments were like, "Oh my god, you leaked the deck, that's crazy." But then, I don't think it matters much. Like, honestly, you guys think this is a way bigger deal than it actually is. Having your deck leak before the tournament is like maybe a problem, because people might change what they do or whatever, like in their deck building. Especially, but not if you play something standard. Like, I played Pearly, which is like that's not like a super outrageous sleeper pick that like, oh my god, Josh's playing Pearly, I better put outs to Pearly in my deck. Everyone was already using outs to Pearly, so it's like it was fine. It was not a big deal. But yeah, I figured we start with a little deck profile, and we talk about the deck that I played. Of course, it's not a topping deck. I did not make top cut. I did not even make day 2. But I still think this deck profile in particular is going to be interesting. Because there were a couple things about my deck that I was really happy with. And there were a couple things about my deck that I was really unhappy with. And I think there's a lot to take away from the experience. So let me show you the deck, and let me also tell you why I decided to play Pearly and all that good stuff. Because I still think, even from the tournaments where you don't do so well, there's always a lot of things to take away, even when you don't do so well. But yeah. I hate D-Barrier. Well, for me, it actually wasn't. For me, it actually wasn't floodgates or anything. But yeah, we'll get to that when we go through the tournament report. Okay, so I played Pearly. The reason I played Pearly is because I thought the deck. Basically, I kind of thought the metagame ended up being super diverse, which we're going to talk about in a little bit as well. But in my personal testing, I didn't think the metagame was as diverse as it was at the YCS. I thought in testing the freaking Pearly deck and the Unchained deck were still a decent amount above the rest. So for me, a couple days before the YCS, I was basically between Unchained and Pearly. Those were my two options that I was strongly considering for the YCS. I tried some other decks. I tried Tearlaments. I even tried stuff like Salamangreat. I even gave Vanquish Soul another try because I wanted it to work so badly. But I didn't think any of those decks were powerful enough. And so for me, it was basically between Pearly and Unchained. And the reason why I picked Pearly, there was literally one thing that made the difference for me, because I really like Unchained and I really like Pearly. I think both of those decks are really good and really cool. Also just very fun to play. I enjoy both of them a lot. The only reason why I picked Pearly over Unchained was the fact that Unchained plays all those one-offs that you don't want to draw, and Pearly doesn't really have that. So to me, it felt like a more I had more fun testing Pearly because there was less instances where I drew cards that I hated to see in my hand. And that's why I went with Pearly. But yeah, I think the deck was pretty good. We're gonna talk about the problems that I had with it though, because there's still a lot of things that I overlooked in testing. Or like in my preparation for this event, which I think is going to be a very solid takeaway. But first, the list is not completely standard, so I guess we should just quickly go over it before we talk about anything else. For the monsters, there's obviously going to be 3 Pearlies and 3 Pearlily. But then next up, you already see where it starts getting a little bit less standard. Because of a Rysart being gone, I decided to play a Pearly version. I decided to play a Pearly version that has a discard package in it, because I thought it would be a waste of like potential to not play a discard engine in Pearly, because you are basically, your game plan is to discard every single game. You're trying to discard multiple cards. So I figured I really wanted a discard engine, and I really liked this. The only thing that you don't have when you play this version is you don't get to play Prosperity, which is, of course, a card that you would like to have in your deck, but I think it was completely fine without it. Like, I did not have issues with bricking. And the reason why I decided to play discard engines is because it makes you play through hand traps a lot better. Like, you just start playing, and if you get hand trapped on the Lily, or you get hand trapped on whatever, you get crowed on the Lily, those kind of things. Having more cards in hand, going plus by summoning these guys, is actually quite important, I think. And so I did not only play the Beast, I also played Squamata and Hedgehog. So I played 6 discards for the Pearly quick play spells. And if anything, I feel like I drew these not often enough. I almost wanted more than that. So the reason why you play exactly those 3. So the cool thing here is when you draw Squamata, you can choose whether you want to draw a card right now with the Beast, or you can send the Hedgehog to, if you want to discard once more after, right? So like if you have 1 quick play spell and Squamata, you can send Beast and draw a card immediately. If you have another discard spell, you can search Hedgehog and grab Beast, so that both discards go plus. Which I liked a lot. Also, another reason why I chose these is because you can hit them off of the Sylvan Link 1, and they will trigger because the Sylvan Link 1 mills them. And they, coincidentally, which happened once or twice, you can hit them against Tearlaments when they go Agido or Kelbeck. You can get some value out of it, which can come up in the current format because Tearlament is a pretty, like, apparently it's very popular. So you can get some bonuses out of these. So that was my monster lineup. There's no hand traps in here, and there is no Fenrirs. And I'll explain both of those decisions. I guess, I mean, Fenrir, I think, is a phenomenal card in Pearly. But the reason I did not play Fenrir was because of these. I wanted to play these, and that leads to two things. The first thing is I want to use my quick play spells in the draw phase very often to play around Droll and Lockbird. Like if I open a Pearly quick play spell that I can activate on an open board and a Brow or any of those, I want to do that in the draw phase to play around Droll and Lockbird. And the second reason is when you play discard engines like Brow or Shaddoll Beast, you're going to draw cards when you already have monsters on the board. And you don't want to draw into Fenrir with those, right? You don't want to draw a Fenrir after you go pitch a Brow for a quick play spell. That's not very good because it's going to be dead in your hand. That's why I decided to not play Fenrir. And I don't think Fenrir was ever... I don't think that was the problem. This, out of anything in my deck, I liked the most. The discard package was great. It let me play into boards super well. It let me play through hand traps super well. I was a big fan of these cards. That was great. So that's that. The Pearly spells we can go over very quickly. The only decision you have to make is how many field spells do you want. I wanted 3. Everything else is at max. That is the standard Pearly. I decided to play 3 field spells because I wanted to hard draw this card going second because it's really good in a lot of matchups to just make your stuff untargetable. And it also gives you just a better chance of hitting with the Pearly main deck monster, of course, when you reveal 3 cards. So I decided to play 3 streets. And then 1 trap. So this is the very standard Pearly stuff. This is not what's interesting about a Pearly deck. These cards are always going to be the same plus minus some of the field spells. That's literally it. And then for my non-engine, basically, right? Because this is all engine. For my non-engine, I decided to not play hand traps in the main deck. Not because I dislike hand traps in this format. I just think hand traps are a little bit weird in Pearly specifically. Because it's weird because in Pearly, I like hand traps a lot when you go first, but I actually don't like them that much when you go second. My problem with hand traps in testing, specifically against decks like Unchained and Tearlament, was that when I go second and I have 1 hand trap, maybe 2 in my hand against Tear or Unchained, they would usually still play through it, right? Because they all play Talents, they play Thrust to extend, and both of those decks are actually not that bad against hand traps. So they would still end up on a, like, let's say they make a Caesar still, even if I tested Crow, I tested Ash, Imperm, all those cards. If you have 1 or 2 of those cards, there's still a very decent chance they still end on a Wave King Caesar. Like, that can still happen. And then you're in trouble because your entire non-engine is hand traps and your entire engine loses to the Caesar, right? So I thought it was the wrong approach to try and stop the Caesar from hitting the board. I thought that was not the best way to go about the deck because you can hand trap Unchained once or twice and they might still end on the Caesar and then you just lose the game because you can't push through the Caesar with only hand traps in your deck. So for game 1, I decided to go board breakers, but I side deck a lot of hand traps for the matchups where I think hand traps are actually good. So I decided to play Book of Eclipse because it's very good against Pearly, and it also helps a lot against Unchained because you simply book the Caesar, which is the biggest deal against Pearly. Is the Caesar? The Caesar is your one problem. And I didn't expect people to go for the Griffin because that's not that great in game 1. So that was fine. We played 3 Talents and 3 Trust. And then I played a Change of Heart and an Imperm. So the Change of Heart is here as a secondary target for the Thrust because if you already have Talents, it doesn't make sense to grab another Talent. So I wanted another target for Thrust for going second, and then I wanted Imperm as a one-of because if I go first and I get hand trapped and it doesn't make sense for me to set the leap because maybe maybe they hand trap me so badly that I can't even go for an XYZ play. I wanted to have one imperm. I wanted to have one imperm for that reason. And I'm gonna be honest with you, my deck I was very happy with my deck for game one. Out of the 9 game ones I played, I believe I won 7, which is a pretty good rate. Like, I was really happy with that. And I think the main deck was honestly pretty strong. I was pretty happy with my deck for game one. But we'll talk about the issues that I had in a second. We'll talk about why, after winning 7 out of 9 game ones, I wasn't able to close out the matches, because that is the whole different issue. But that was the main deck. The extra deck is relatively standard. There's 2 Noirs, 2 Happiness. I decided to go with 1 Beauty, which I never missed the second copy. I think that was fine. Plump, the Baby Noir. I decided to play the Ensemble Robin, which is, I think, a much better card now than it was in quote-unquote Kashtira format. This card was just awful against Kashtira, but right now it's actually not bad. Like, this card is decent against Tyr. This card is decent against Unchained. So when you have basically turn 1, when you can already play, you would decide, do I need to make Sylvan Princess Sprite to hit another spell card? Or do I try and make an Ensemble Robin to just have a better defensive board? And I made this a couple times and it was actually quite good. So I liked that. This was the one card in my entire extra deck I did not make the entire weekend. I'm not sure if this is still necessary, the Slacker Magician. I kind of just, like, everyone is using it, and it's a neat option, but I don't think I summoned it a single time. This one, I think, was the only card I didn't summon out of my extra deck. Downerd, 1 Zeus. There's like no shot you need 2 Zeus in this deck. Honestly, this card didn't even come up that much. Like, you still need it, of course. It's a very important option to have. But the second one, there's like no way. Like, Unicorn is not really a thing anymore. And you never need a second one. And then you played some links. I played a Dark, an Azalea, and a Link, and an Anima. This is like, it's a pretty standard extra deck. There's nothing crazy going on in the extra deck, I don't think. All right. And then the side deck. I played 3 Nibs, 3 Drolls, and 3 Ashes. Like I said, I like hand traps this format. But I don't like hand traps going like game 1 in Pearly. Simply because they don't prevent Caesar, right? And so these were not for like Unchained or anything. Well, going first against Unchained, you side Nib and Ash over like Talon's Thrust. Like, hand traps going first in Pearly are really, really good because you can back up your board with it. You can draw them with Sleepy Memory. So basically, covering for combo decks like Mannadium, Rika, all those kind of decks, right? Like, whatever combo deck, you name it. Drytron, Dark World, those kind of things, right? That's what I really wanted. I didn't want to go into the tournament with no hand traps anywhere in my deck, right? And so after I decided to not play hand traps in the main deck, I decided I would need to side a significant amount of hand traps. So I sided all of these, and I was pretty happy with those in the matchups that I sided them for. And then you play 1 Shaddoll Dragon, which is cool because it gives you multiple ways to out cards like Anti-Spell, Fragrance, or Skill Drain, because you can, of course, send this with Squamata. You can search it with Hedgehog to have ways to discard it and pop cards like Skill Drain, Anti-Spell, Tikaboo, those kind of things, right? You can pop with Shaddoll Dragon. That was pretty cool. And then I played 1 card that I thought was pretty good. It was Spellbound. So the reason why Spellbound is in here is because it actually covers a decent amount of matchups going first and second. So what you do with this card is you can side it against Pearly going second, because when they go for the Pearly Leap, you chain Spellbound and they cannot XYZ on top of the little Pearly XYZ. You side it against Flu, because when they go summon some little birds, you just Spellbound and then they can't tribute them, which is good. You also side it against Chimera, because they set Chimera Fusion on their first turn, and when you Spellbound, it stops them from using all of the monsters on their board as fusion material, which means they cannot make Guardian Chimera, they cannot make Magnum the Reliever, because both of those cards require cards on the field as material. The same for Dragostapelia, right? Dragostapelia needs a fusion monster, which you cannot have that in hand. So you have to use it from your field. So Spellbound actually, and that was pretty good for me against the Chimera people that I played. You can also side it against Branded, because it's the same against like Branded in red, or Branded, like those kind of things, right? Branded Banishment. You can Branded Banishment doesn't help, but Branded in red it helps, right? So this was really good going second in a lot of matchups, but it's also going first. You can also side it in like almost any matchup, honestly. Like going first against any matchup, this card is pretty good. It also prevents like random Underworld Goddess and stuff like that. So I thought this was pretty good. Shout outs to Nesh for this, because he told me about this on the Friday. He was like, you should play Spellbound. And I was like, yeah, that's a good idea. And I like this card. I think it was good. And then it's just 2 more thrust targets. It's Herald of the Abyss and Harpy's Feather Duster. So that was the deck. And I'm gonna be honest with you, in a vacuum, I think this list was pretty good. I think this list was pretty damn strong. So let's talk about why it didn't work out. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. If I'm happy with my deck list, and most of my choices, why the hell did it not work out? So if you've been following me, if you've been following my tournament report that I gave out on like Twitter and everything, I did not actually lose that much. I did not actually lose that much. I had, after 9 rounds of Swiss, I had 5 wins, 1 loss, and 3 freaking draws, which was a surreal experience, because I've never had, I get draws very rarely, and I've never had more than 1 draw in my entire life in a tournament. I don't think I've ever had 2 draws even in one tournament. So it's been a surreal experience for me, because it's never been an issue for me to like go into time that often and then draw that often. And it's honestly 100% just that's 100% on me for like preparing. That's a preparation issue with the deck, because I simply did not realize when I chose this deck and I brought it to this YCS, I did not realize how much of a problem the timer is for Pearly. Because if you look at this main deck, right, this main deck is no hand traps, pretty much all gas, right, with the discard engine, all gas, no breaks. You just make a Noir every single time when you go first. And I made a Noir every single time when I went first. Like, every single time when I went first, I was able to set up a Noir. But I didn't have like 3 hand traps to back it up to immediately make my opponent pass turn. Most of my opponents, I would just like, I would build a Noir, it would sit here, and my opponents would start playing into it. And that, against decks like Unchained, Tearlaments, Chimera, or Branded, it just took a long time, right? I just sit here with a Noir, they start playing into it, because they have an out in their extra deck, maybe like a Goddess, or they play a theoretical out somewhere in their deck, so they would just start playing, they would set up their board. I didn't want to make my Noir affected, so I didn't use it until I thought it was necessary, right? And so just like the game ones ended up playing out a very long time, right? I would still win those games, right? I won most of my game ones like that, but it just took a very long time. And that's not because my opponent played slow or I played slow. It was just a very regular game, but it's just like I made a Towers monster and I basically didn't interrupt them for a very long time, right? They were just able to play with their Tearlament deck or whatever. And that just takes a long time, right? And then eventually I win game 1. And then we go to game 2. And there's like, I don't know, 15 minutes left or something. And my opponent would go first. They would make their board and everything, and it would take a little bit of time. And then I would play into it, and I would try to break it, right? I would try to break it, and that also takes a while, right? And Sometimes I was able to break it, and those were the matches that I won, which is also another thing. Like, out of the 5 matches that I won, 4 of them were 2-0s, right? Because honestly, I don't know how this deck plays 3 full games in 45 minutes. Like, I have no idea how it does it. Like, the ones that I won were most of the time just because they were 2-0. Then it's possible to do it in 45 minutes. But freaking 3 full games, I have no idea how it happens. Like, I have no idea. Like, and the problem was, normally one thing you would do in that scenario, like if you win a very long game 1, right? And you are, let's say you're behind in game 2. It's not completely lost yet, but it's like you're behind, right? You're like, I'm probably going to lose this game if it goes on for like 5 more minutes or 10 more minutes, right? Something you can do, which is an important thing to do sometimes if you don't want to draw, is you just scoop game 2 and you're like, okay, let's go to game 3 with a proper amount of time left, right? Let's at least go and try and win game 3, right? That's the smart thing to do if you want to finish the match. The problem is with Pearly, I can't really do that. It's stupid to do that. I have to try and win game 2 because my deck has this deck has no way to gain life or anything or inflict damage. There's nothing in here. And it's even worse than that. You even pay 500 life points, right? You pay 500 life points with my friend Pearly, and then you just lose, right? And so my option is basically we're in game 2, and it's 10 minutes left or whatever, right? And it's like I can either try to win game 2, right? I have to try and win game 2, even though my opponent has made a very strong board or whatever. I can try to win game 2, or I can scoop and go game 3, but then my deck is at a super big disadvantage. Because what do I do? Game 3, 10 minutes left. I go first. I do my combo. My friend Pearly. I make a Noir with 40 materials, right? And then my opponent just starts playing into it. And I probably lose in time. Like, it doesn't matter. It literally doesn't matter. So I just had to try and win game 2. I had to try and win game 2. Because I like game 3, you just don't have a chance with like 5 minutes left or 8 minutes left or whatever it is. Like, this deck just doesn't have it, right? You just don't have a way. And yeah. That was the thing. That's not an issue of the deck itself is not bad. It's just an issue of the deck is bad under the current time rules, right? And it's just this is a huge oversight that I made because I tested this deck not in tournaments, right? I played this deck against friends. I played on DB. I tested online. I tested with friends IRL, but we never had a timer running, right? And it's just something that I never really realized how long the games were actually taking and how much of an issue I would have if it were to go to time, which is honestly, for how much I've been playing this game, for how long I've been playing this game, a shocking oversight. Let's be real. This is not an excuse. It's just something to take away, that even when you've been playing this game for as long as I have, you still miss very obvious things like that. Like in your preparation for events sometimes. Like, it was just like, to me, it was like shockingly obvious after the day 1 at YCS Dortmund that I was like, yeah, this deck has an obvious issue with the current time rules. Like, literally, it's just like, if this deck didn't have the pay 500, that's basic. This is mandatory. Like, you cannot not use this card on your first turn. Most of the times you have to do it, right? And so if it was at least a deck that didn't pay life points, right? If it was at least 8,000 to 8,000, I could be like, okay, let me just scoop game 2 early. Let's go to game 3. I try to make my board. If they can play into it for long enough, then so be it. But if they can't, then I can maybe attack for game. And worst case, if they can't do damage and I can't do damage, it's at least still a draw, right? But in this case, it's just like, if both of us don't do damage, I lose, which is very bad. So yeah, it was a huge oversight that I made with Pearly. And that's on me. And that's also why I wasn't very mad when I didn't make day 2. Because there was a certain point in the tournament where I think it was after I got my second draw or whatever, I was like, dude, this deck was just not, it was just not smart, you know? It was not smart of me to bring this exact deck with this exact, like, I don't know if there is a way to prepare for this problem. I don't know if you just have to side Dogwood or something like that. I don't know if that's the solution. I don't know if that's the Hail Mary thing you need to do, is side Dogwood like that, or like, but I would never bring this deck again in this iteration to the event, even though, like I said, in a vacuum, I think this deck was pretty good. Like, I think without time, I think I win most of those matches because I can just go, like, I went first game 1, it worked out perfectly, I won, and if I would probably be able to do the same thing in game 3, right? But there was just not enough time to do it, and that was the problem. It's such an obvious thing to overlook. Yeah, like no, shockingly obvious. But it still happens somehow. But I mean, it's a learning, so that's okay. I still think the deck was good overall. But that's that. My matchups. Round 1 I played against Burning Abyss. Round 2 I played against. Let me check Twitter. I don't remember everything. Hold up. I posted everything on Twitter. Yeah, round 1 I beat Burning Abyss. Round 2 I beat Chimera Branded. Round 3 I beat Unchained. Round 4 was my first draw against Branded Despia. This is where I started noticing there was an issue, because game 1 I don't know if I went first. Yeah, I went first, made a Noir, they started playing into it. It took a while because they theoretically had an out. That's why they started playing into it. It was Branded Despia, not Chimera Branded. So they played Dragoon, they made Dragoon, I couldn't target it. My Noir was relatively fat, like 4,000 something, but they had a Dragoon and they started like negating their own cards to make it bigger. But I eventually outed it with something, I don't remember. Either Talents or... I kept banishing it with Plump to reset the attack stat until I could eventually run over it with Noir. Yada yada. It was a good game 1, and that's the thing that's the most frustrating. All of those game 1s that I won, or all of the game 1s in general, were very, very fun because this deck is very grindy. It was exactly like my alley of how to play the game. Like, it was very fun. Going first, going second, it's a very fun deck. I really liked it, right? But it just had that one issue that I didn't account for, which was frustrating. But yeah, against Branded, I win a 35-minute game 1 or something like that. They go first in game 2. I ashed their Branded Fusion. And they simply Cartesia into a Masquerade, right? They simply Cartesia into a Masquerade and they pass. It's like a Masquerade. I think a Branded Lost was there maybe. So they searched an Albion for next turn or whatever. It's like, normally if I have the time, I pretty much always beat that opener, right? Because I had 5 cards in hand. It's just the Masquerade, no other interruptions. But there's freaking I don't know how many minutes there were left exactly when I started my turn. It was just not possible. I couldn't do it. But I also couldn't just scoop and say, yeah, let's quickly run it. Let's quickly run it into a game 3. Let's do that. That would have been so dumb of me to just surrender the game immediately and go to game 3. Because what am I going to do? If I let them go first, there's going to be a Masquerade again, and I lose to that. If I go first, I activate my friend Pearly, pay 500, then they play into it for 3 minutes, and I lose as well. Like, I just had to try and win game 2 somehow against the Masquerade 5 minutes before time or whatever. So I started playing into the Masquerade. You know, I go like activate a couple things to go for a beauty. You know, I go for a beauty. I take the Masquerade. I attack them, but I'm like down way too many life points at that point. And then I have to pass, and and they just go Albion, send Retribution, grab Rack, Brand Fusion, play a little bit, and it's a draw, right? So that was the first time I noticed that there's a freaking issue with it. And then I win round 5 against Synchro Branded, so at that point I'm 4 wins, 1 draw, so I'm like, okay, maybe it's fine. Round 6, I draw against Tearlaments. This time the other way around. This time I lost a very long game 1, which was a little frustrating because I made I made a very big Noir against them turn 1, like 8 materials, I want to say, maybe 7, and they just play into it with Tearlaments. And I'm like, okay, why are you playing into this Noir? Why are you doing this? Why are you not surrendering? You probably have an out in your extra deck. So when they put 4 monsters, their opener was crazy, by the way. Their opener was insane. When they had 4 monsters on the board, I was like, okay, goddammit, I probably have to spin one because they're probably playing Goddess, right? If they weren't playing Goddess, they would probably have scooped it. Like, there's like, why are you doing this? Or they are trying to deck me out with Agido and Kelbeck, which is also a problem for this deck. This deck, honestly, struggles against tier. That was a second oversight that I had. I did not realize how much purely struggles with Tearlaments. But that's the story for later. So I was afraid of Goddess. Long story short, I was like, I have a lot of follow-up because I drew a couple cards. I have a lot of follow-up, and I can probably just start using my Noir to spin like 3 or 4 cards, and then I can win the next turn or win the game that way. Turns out I was wrong because after I started using Noir, I used it on like 4 cards. They were still able to set up a freaking crazy board. I don't remember exactly. I only know that they milled a Scream to search Sulliak. Then they milled Heartbeat and Meta Noise to get back Heartbeat. And then they hard drew Crime. So they ended on all 3 trap cards. Scream face up, Winda, Cringe setup. Crazy that they were able to do that through like 3 or 4 Noir spins. It was insane. Anyways, I lost game 1, and then I won game 2 like 4 minutes before time. So we quickly went to go game 3, which was I mean, they went first and they had Scattershot in their deck, so it was literally just they went first. Time was called during their main phase 1, so I knew I was not going to get a turn. It was either if they find Scattershot, I lose. If they don't find Scattershot, it's a draw. Luckily for me, they did not find Scattershot. Yeah, that was that. So that was the second draw against Tearlaments. Then round 7, I played against Tearlament again, and that one was actually crazy. That one was actually insane. So I lose game 1. I don't know how long it took. I don't know how long this game 1 took. I lose game 1. Game 2. I go first. I probably made a Noir. They could not play through it entirely. On the next turn, I don't kill them, but I have like a Noir with like 10 materials or something, and they have 0 cards in hand, 0 cards on the field. Maybe there was a Pearl or Rhino left. That didn't really matter. There was like, they were down to 0 on the field, 0 in hand, right? So they draw. They draw for turn, and they normal summon Diviner. And they mill an Agido, right? And they activate Agido, and they mill a Kelbeck. Which you might think is whatever, you know, because you have a fat unaffected Noir. What are they gonna do? You know, the issue was before they top decked the Diviner, the cards in my deck were exactly 10. Not 9, not 11, it was exactly 10. So I decked out. They decked me out from 0 cards on the field, 0 cards in hand. They just go draw Diviner and deck me out for exact. So if I had 9 cards in my deck, I would they would not be able to activate the second mill 5 dude, but I had exactly 10. And I lost. The Pearly Trap had already been used. I already had to use the Pearly Trap to recycle monsters on my second turn, so I didn't have that. So yeah, I lost that. I got decked out. That was my only loss in the tournament, by the way. That was my only loss in the tournament. And I'm not gonna lie, if that does not happen right there, it's probably another draw. Because I don't think we finished game 3 in whatever was left. I don't know how long was left at that point, but we probably would not have finished another game. So it probably would have been another draw, which is crazy to think about. But yeah. So round 7 was my first loss. At that point, I was 4-1-2. Which was basically the bubble after round 7, which is relatively early, so that didn't feel good. I needed to win 5 in a row. Round 8, I was able to beat Chimera again, which is that one. Chimera felt like a pretty decent matchup to me, honestly. Yeah, Chimera didn't feel very hard. I think I 2-0'd both of the Chimeras that I played against. This one I even beat under anti-spell because they went first setup plus anti-spell. I went chain quick play, do some pearly plays, and then Zeus them. So it was pretty cool. And then round 9 I played against Unchained, and it was the exact same scenario. So game 1, I make a Noir, they play into it. I have to. And that one again, my opponent was a nice guy, and the game was super fun, right? Because I had a Noir, I had an Eclipse, I had follow up. They start playing into it. I used Noir a couple times, because I know Unchained plays Goddess, so I have to use the Noir at some point. Shuffle some stuff. They have a bunch of extenders. I Book of Eclipse them on 4 monsters. So in their end phase, they draw 4 cards. So they also have insane follow-up. On the next turn, I do like this huge combo turn where I make like a happiness, attack all their shit, clear their entire board, make double Noir this time. Like I had double Noir, both 8 materials, and a Zeus against their like 6 cards in hand. They try to play into my board again, yada yada yada. And they can't break it, and they lose game 1 after like once again 30 minutes or something, maybe even more. The thing is, then once again it was the exact same thing in game 2 where they went first. They made, I don't know, I think it was Caesar plus D barrier or something like that. And I was able to play into it a little bit, actually, because I had Change of Heart, and a way to make dark. So I played into it a little bit, broke their board, but obviously couldn't make any Noirs or anything like that under the D barrier, any Zeus. So I just passed it back, and then they played into my board again and couldn't quite kill me and whatever. But yeah, it was just the same thing. At no point in that match, it made sense for me to just say like, yeah, let's quickly go to game 3. Like I could have done that when I saw the D barrier, right? I saw the D barrier that they activated. I could have said, yeah, I'm just gonna scoop, go game 3 as fast as possible, but then I probably lose the match instead of freaking, yeah. And that's why I don't regret not scooping any of the game 2s, because it just doesn't make sense, because I know there's like a 95% chance that I'm just gonna lose instead of like drawing, right? Like it's just like, what's the point of yeah, I don't know. Because if I make them go first, they can just do the Requiem, right? It's not, I can try to go second and OTK them, but most decks have a time win condition, right? If I let Tearlaments go first with 5 minutes left on the clock, they just scattershot me. If I let Unchained go first, they just use the Requiem to gain 1,000. If most decks just have a better win condition in time than this deck does. So like, it's just awful to play. It just feels awful to play when it gets close to time. It's just, it puts you in a very awful situation. So I don't know. There was no time cards, no options or anything like that in my deck. So I just like, that's why I had such a hard time at this event, which was honestly, once again, 100% on me, 100% an oversight on my end. So it's like no one to blame but me. The Condemned Dark Lord is real. Yeah, I heard that there is options for this deck. I don't know if they would have made a difference. I don't know if that's what needs to be done, I guess. But all I know is that I'm not gonna make this mistake again, which is, I guess, the good thing from this YCS, right? Even after playing this game for so many years, you can still learn from an experience like that, because I'm just gonna make sure next time that my decks don't have this sort of issue, right? Which is important, right? That's an important thing to take away, even when you don't do so well, is like to find out what the reasons were. Because I don't think it was because I was particularly unlucky or because I played badly. I was pretty happy with both of those things. Like, I think my draws were pretty good throughout the weekend. Like, the deck performed as I expected it, basically. Outside of time, I was like pretty happy with it. The deck was good. It won the games that it was supposed to win. It drew consistently. It also drew consistently. Kick. Yeah, no, I was happy with it. I was happy with most of my decisions outside of like that one issue that the deck had, so it's fine. But yeah, that's my YCS Dortmund deck profile, I guess. I hope you were able to take something away from that, and yeah, that's that. Let me move that aside. MD Banlist next? No. Not MD Banlist next, because I do still wanna... Meaningless Trip, thank you for the 6 months. Yeah, it's just like... It's important to evaluate your deck outside of like, because I think that's an issue that a lot of people have, like when you test on like DB or whatever, you just don't walk into those problems, right? On DB, you would never notice that this is a problem for the deck, pretty much. Yo, GetCoin, thank you for the 5 gift subs. Appreciate that. Thank you so much. All right. Now, that was my experience of the YCS, but let's talk about the general things that happened at this YCS, which is also, I think, very interesting to look at. I think in general, this YCS was pretty interesting when it comes to a lot of things. So we're gonna take a quick look at that. All right, YCS Dortmund, 2,425 duelists, which is an insane number. Insane number of people at this YCS, especially considering the 45 euros entry fee now. People thought that was going to stop people from showing up. Nope. Absolutely didn't stop people from showing up to the YCS. I want to say one positive thing about the increased entry fee, which you're not going to like to hear. You're not going to like to hear any positives about it, right? But there is one thing that I heard was actually better this time around, and that was the amount of no-shows was a lot lower than previously. You know how, like, you need a ticket for the YCS, so people just get a ticket, and then sometimes don't show up, right? They get the ticket weeks in advance, and then they realize, hey, I can't actually go to the YCS, or they will buy the ticket before they even realize that they have something else planned or whatever. And that is something that happened a lot less for this event. Like, I believe for YCS London, it was over 500 people that did that. Like, bought a ticket and then didn't go to the YCS, which is, I mean... You could say, well, I mean, it's their fault for wasting the money, but at the same time, it's like that's a lot of space that would have been able, like other people that wanted to play the tournament, that couldn't play, that didn't get a ticket because of those people, right? And so here, there was only, I think, about 100 people that did not show up out of like 2,500. So a much better rate than 500 at YCS London or whatever. So I don't know if this is 100%, tied together, but it's definitely, I can imagine you think twice before buying a 45 euro ticket and then not showing up, right? Yeah. Also, the tickets sold a lot slower, which gives you more time to consider if you actually go, right? So that's it's hard to say that it's just getting more expensive is a good thing, which I think overall it's not, but it definitely had this one positive side effect, which you should acknowledge. I don't know if that was maybe even their reasoning for it. Maybe that was their reasoning for it. I don't know. But anyways, 2,425 players. Deck breakdown day 1, which when I heard about this, I was actually very surprised by it. Not because of the decks that are on here, but rather the exact percentages. Like, we have Unchained at 11%, we have Pearly at 10%, we have Tearlament at 9%, Flu at 7%, Labyrinth at 6%, Branded at 5%. When I look at this, I'm like, okay, I think these decks are actually in the right order in terms of what I expected. I thought Unchained Soul was going to be the most popular, then Pearly, then Tear, and then some of the other stuff, right? That's what I expected, but I did think there was going to be a bigger gap between Unchained, Pearly, maybe Tear, and then the rest. I thought there was going to be a little bit more than that, but it was a super, super diverse format. Which I don't want to spark that discussion again. I don't want to spark that discussion of like, is this good or is this bad? I think it can be a little bit of both. I think there's advantages of it and disadvantages of it. One disadvantage is that it's very, very hard to prepare for this YCS, but still it's cool to see different decks doing well. One thing that I wish they would have done is maybe because this is, I think, the only slide that we got from the Konami coverage that showed the deck breakdowns or whatever. I really would have liked to maybe have another slide to break the others into, like, break down the others, because like, what the hell is 52% other? What the hell is that? Like, what's the thing? I mean, I understand you don't list every single one, like every single deck that only like one person in the room is playing, but surely there's a lot of decks. Surely there's a lot of decks that are like 4%, 3%, which is still a significant amount of people out there. 2,500 like players. You know, if a deck has 1% out of 2,500 players, that's still 25 people. Right? And so like 3% is 75 people, 4% is 100 people that played a certain deck, right? And they're just not listed, even though they certainly were there, right? They certainly were there. Like, how many Rikas did we have? How many Vanquish Souls did we have? How many, I don't know if Branded is Branded Chimera and Branded Despia combined. Even those kind of things would have been really interesting. You know, how many Manadiums, how many Infernobles? You know, there's definitely like there's a huge Dragon Link, like so many decks that I like. Was it 4%? Were they almost gonna be on this graph, or was it just 1% or even less? You know, like, it's very it would have been very interesting. But that's a shame. We only know about like the most obvious ones, which is, of course, I mean, it's still good to see this, but it's like everyone knew that those decks were gonna be there, right? There's nothing completely crazy here. Whereas a split of the other category would have probably been very, very interesting. But there you go. Personally, I expected Unchained and Pearly to maybe take up a little bit more, but then again, in such a diverse metagame, these two decks together taking up over 20% is still a pretty large amount. So, you know, considering that, I guess, you know. Let's move on to the top cut breakdown, because the picture there is a little bit different. We have Tearlament's strongest. Apparently Tearlament's was the strongest performing deck at YCS Dortmund. If you simply look at the conversion rate from Swiss to top cut, it was actually impressive. It was actually impressive. It went from 9% overall representation to 60% in top cut, the most represented deck in top cut. There's one add-on here. One add-on, which apparently there were five Pearlies in top 64, which would be, I think, more than 5%, right? 5 out of 64 is more than 5. Yeah, it's more than 5%. Like, I think it's according to the spreadsheet. Let me quickly check. It says that there's how many Pearlies? There's one here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, there's 5 Pearlies in top 64. There's 5 Pearlies in top 64 from the deck profiles, judging from the deck profiles. So they must have been they must have miscalculated something, because Pearly should have been around the Branded and Fluanderese level. But that's that. No, tier limits. I have mixed feelings about tier limits, guys. I have mixed feelings about tier limits. Let's talk about tier for a second. I like the tier deck. From a power level standpoint, I tested it and I kind of liked it. The reason why I ended up not playing it was because I didn't think the Unchained matchup was that great, mostly going second, because like the Caesar can be pretty annoying, but it depends. The main issue that I had was that I thought the deck was, at least how it felt to me was the deck struggles too much when it doesn't get to mill 5 with Agido or Kelbeck. That was my issue in testing. Every time I got to Agido and Kelbeck, I was winning. Not even close, right? Not even close. I was winning when I got to Agido and Kelbeck. But every time I didn't, I had a problem. Yo, Jane OCG Meta, thank you for the 10 gift subs. That's very kind of you. Thank you for the support. Appreciate that. Thank you. Enjoy the subs, guys. Everyone say thank you to Jane OCG Meta. Appreciate that. What was I saying? Yeah. So basically, in order to find Agido or Kelbeck, you pretty much have to Diviner, Foolish, or you randomly mill them, or you're a psychopath and you draw like Agido plus Keldo, or like Keldo plus Kelbeck, or Mudora plus whatever, like some truly psychopath activity. Or you can make your way to a Beatrice. But I will say, getting to a Beatrice without having Diviner already is pretty hard. It's not that easy to make a Beatrice without already having those cards, right? And so that's kind of how I felt in testing, is that like I would either completely pop off, right? I would either completely pop off, or I would not do much. And I did. It felt a lot more variance than what I liked. But I mean, I guess like it still performs, so I can't argue with that. Maybe I just didn't find the right version in testing, or maybe I just didn't evaluate it that much. Also, I kind of underestimated how good the deck was against Pearly. Which, I mean, if Pearly was 10% of the field, if Tearlaments is really strong against Pearly, then that's a huge advantage. And this also, I think, ties into the performance of Dragon Link at this event, probably. Like, Tearlament being the third most represented deck, surely had to have been one of the reasons why Dragon Link performed so well, right? Because the deck, not even listed here, so less than 5% representation, jumping to 13% in top cut, which is probably the best conversion rate out there, right? And having a Bestial deck against Tearlaments is just really good. They are useful against Unchained. I don't think they're like insane against Unchained, but they're definitely useful against the grind game, like against the Yama and stuff like that. I think it's having Bestials against Unchained is good. Having Bestials against Branded is really good. Bestials are decent against Labyrinth. It just had solid matchups across the board. I don't think it's that good against Pearly. But it's not like an auto loss or anything. Like, it's playable for sure. The matchup is fine. Like, it's not awful for Dragon Link. Like, if Dragon Link goes first, it definitely can win against Pearly. So yeah, the two overperformers of the weekend, in my opinion, are Tearlaments and Dragon Link. Those are the two decks I expected them to be there, but I did not expect them to be this successful. So, kudos to whoever figured out that those two decks were going to be strong, brought them, and did well with them. I think that was a very good job. Well done. Okay. Now, hold up. The next thing we should do is probably look at... So now this, if you see this, right? If you see this breakdown, you would not expect the finals to be what it was, right? The finals of the YCS is not representative of this deck breakdown because the finals of the YCS, for some reason, the finals of the YCS was Rika against Vanquish Soul, which is crazy. And of course everyone knows by now that freaking Rika wins another huge European event. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I want to find out how. I haven't seen the finals yet. I have not seen the finals yet. We're gonna watch the finals. I need to see this finals. I have not seen it, and I need to find out how this happened. Hold up. It's very small things, right? And it's that can make it all the more frustrating sometimes when it's just such small things. But you guys have to realize that, like, before we watched this match, chat was full of like, oh my god, they played so badly against Plants in the finals, and it was like so many misplays. Not the case. There was not many, and there were not like massive in terms of, it was very, very small interactions that were messed up in the finals. Like there was a DD Crow in response to a Regulus because he didn't know that Regulus still summoned, right? Super understandable thing. There was a Zeus in defense position that should have been in attack position because of like how Rika plays, right? Because of how Rika interacts with Zeus or defense position monsters in general, which is something that, you know, if you haven't played against Rika much, that may have never come up to you, and completely okay not to know that, right? Of course, yes, perfectly preparing for the event, you would probably know that, but it's not like crazy to not have known that. So it's just very, very small things that are 100% understandable out of someone that has just made it to the finals of their very first YCS ever. So I think it's completely understandable. They're not bad mistakes to make. They are mistakes, but they are not like, you know, completely like crazy mistakes to make, like super obvious stuff that you just missed. I don't think it's that. I think it's all right. I don't think it was the biggest deal. I think in this particular case, also, I think it's better to just realize that Julius, on the other hand, played the game also pretty damn well. Didn't make those kind of small mistakes, right? And ended up winning because of it, and that's completely okay. It happens, and I think they both did an incredible job this weekend, honestly. So I think we can just leave it at that. Now we're gonna go into some deck profiles, because you guys keep telling me to watch the Vanquish Soul deck profile. It's okay. We will watch the Vanquish Soul deck profile. First things first. Let's go.
Okay, Lucas, you end up second place, right?
Yes.
With Vanquish Soul here at YCS Dortmund. Is there anything you want to say before we go to the list?
Shout out to everybody who supported came with me, tested with me. Yeah, like amazing. Yeah.
Awesome story as well. First YCS?
Yeah, first YCS ever. Yeah.
Okay, really nice. Okay, let's see the list.
Sure. I played Vanquish. I mean, obviously, I played Free Raisin. You have to see him, otherwise your engine is shit. And then just Mad Love, because on her own she's not that good, and
I like 3.
You don't really want to see her. You want to see Raisin every time. Then one Pantera, it's good.
I think it's a matter of if you don't see Raisin, at least you see Medlov, and like you can kind of play, right? And if you already have Raisin, you actually also want the Medlov because you just get it for the free extender. I think it's just like, I don't think they conflict with each other, is what I'm trying to say.
An extender and just another Earth target. For the big ones, Reborger. He was the MVP today. Almost every game today I won because of Borger. then and 2 values.
Right.
That's everything for the VS cards. Yeah, I wouldn't change anything with the ratios. And then, I mean, the cash cards are just too good. Henry and Rysart can make easy Dueler and Baguska versus like rough matchups.
I like this. I like this.
Unchained is really hard, and Flu, you can make these rank 4s pretty easy and just good attributes.
Yeah, I see people dropping Fenrir.
I don't know why they are crazy. It's the best card in deck, and it's one of the only Earth targets you have for.
Yeah, I like Fenrir. Fenrir needs to be in there.
Then for the hand traps, I played a lot of hand traps because I don't know. I think they're all pretty good this format. Ash obviously, then Ghost Bell for.
Ghost Bell is interesting because it's like. It has synergy with the deck. It's an Earth, so that's fine, and but it's only like kind of okay against most matchups, except for Lab. It shits on Lab, but everything else is like it's okay.
But I decided to main it for like mainly for Earth target and for Levy, for Unchained. It's okay. It has some applications. And then I played 3 throw over Shifter because I don't think Shifter is that good at the moment. If you play versus Unchained and they go first, you shifter them, they just pass on a trap and a guy and you can't beat it. Their engine is way stronger.
I mean, to be fair, in direct comparison, if you have just Shifter versus just Crow against Unchained, they still end on like the same type of stuff, right? Like Crow against Unchained is also not insane. It's not like they end on nothing. They will still have the trap and everything if you Crow them, right?
It's really hard, and same for Pearly. They can play with.
It's
their
better
hands,
against
so
Pearly, I think.
Pro was better overall, and yeah, I did miss Shifter, and also Shifter and Bell conflict, so yeah, I'm pretty happy with Pro.
Pro is a better top deck because you do draw a lot of cards, right? You have like Frost, you have Borger and stuff like that. In most lists, I assume there's Frost.
Sometimes. Then for consistency, 3 pots, 1 Rota, 1 Durandal. I wasn't sure about Frost, but
Coward.
Conflicts with Borger, but basically if you have everything, Borger just turns into
Frost, Coward.
Frost. So it's okay, and I don't really need my X-Ray that much, so I can afford it. Okay.
Platinum Rare Rhoda, yeah, that's probably the biggest mistake we've seen him make today.
The 3 Imperm,
to be honest.
Doesn't play into Frost or anything, and 3 Tikaboo's main. Because versus some decks is still good going second, versus Unchained is good going second.
I mean, unfortunately, I do think that this card is the reason to play Vanquish Soul right now. I don't think it's because the engine is better than anything else in the game, right? The deck, like if you look at the deck from an outside perspective, it has not that much more room for non-engine. Like we're playing, 12 hand traps and 3 Tikaboo, which is 15 non-engine, which is a respectable amount, but other decks can do the same, right? Then you compare engine to engine, it's like Vanquish Soul's not a terrible engine, but it's also not a great engine, right? It's like fine. The one difference is that is that Tikaboo just like beats so many decks in the format right now, and this deck gets to play it.
Second, and these are the hardest matchups, and you need this card.
You know, like Unchained, good against Unchained, good against Pearly, good against Flu. This is really good against so many decks. Plants, right?
In the main deck, I'm pretty happy with it at the moment. Okay. No, I don't think so. Okay. Extra deck, pretty standard. 3 Rock, 1 Phoenix for the XYZ. Didn't make Phoenix 1 time. For the XYZs, Baguska, Dueler was really good today. The Zoo package for Big Zoos. I kind of fucked up in the final with the Zoos, but it happens. And then 1 Synchro Baron. Just if you have Borger and
Borger, Ash, or Bro. Okay, I guess that is one way to convert off of Bell in the matchups where it isn't good. Is you can make a Baron, which isn't terrible. That's all right.
Really nice. And also Baron is important for another card. Didn't came up, and I played this as Slayer targets.
Oh, Slayer. Okay.
So basically, Baron is just in case I need a Slayer for Synchro. I have a Synchro that is also playable. Slayer was really good versus Unchained. They can play around it a bit, but you get a lot of pluses with the draw. And if you have another non-engine, you can break their board pretty good. And versus Tier and Branded, which Branded
Slayer
is
is
also a hard
bait.
matchup.
Changed my mind. I think Slayer is fine. I didn't play it because of extra deck space. I think decks like this that have extra deck space actually can play it pretty well. I think it's a good card in this deck.
Slayer is insane. Almost auto win versus Slayer.
Okay.
And for the side deck, 3 books. I just wanted to have
Regular
something versus
book.
Pearly. And also they are good versus Sun Avalon going first. You can set a book. They normal summon, you book it. Maybe they pass. I know it's okay. Because I don't have that many cards going first to side and come to later to it, but yeah, book was okay. And versus Pearly, really good. I needed it. Came up every time I played versus Pearly. Then Thrust package. I played 3 Thrust, 2 Slayers, and then 1 Duster, 1 Talents, and 1 Herald.
I kind of like this. I mean, I like that we're playing multiple Slayers because this is the one out of the bunch that's not once per turn. So we can, like, you know, we can Slayer and then Thrust for another Slayer. And that's pretty solid.
Honestly, I did use Herald once. I also didn't side it in very often versus Pearly because if they get the draw, if I remove the Noir and they get the draw, the add-backs, I have to kill it. To kill it, that's pretty hard. So I think
You can't do that, yeah. That's another thing of, like, you know, cards like Herald of the Abyss don't function the same way in every single deck, right? There's a couple decks where you can simply Herald of the Abyss, the Noir, and then just kill them. Vanquish Soul is not one of those decks, right? Vanquish Soul is not one of those decks where you can just Herald of the Abyss, the Noir, and just attack them for game. When they freaking have, when they drew like 4 cards in your standby phase and they have insane follow-up, you might just still lose, right? And so you might have to focus on hand trapping them or booking them before they get the draws, I guess. But book is kind of the same issue, right? If they go for a setup with the trap card, you can't book them; they still get draws. Right.
honestly, having the book is way better, and you can force the Noir, and yeah. But I don't know if I would play it. And another trust target is evenly insane. And then for the 3 going first cards, I have D-Barrier. 3 D-Barrier. Yeah,
Bro.
Brand.
Come on, man. Why are they cheering like that? Why did they do that?
Is covered, and for the link decks, it doesn't cover.
Don't do that.
Good because like you book the normal summon like sell it.
Yeah.
Sun Avalon, you just book it. And I have no other cards to side versus these decks, so I decided on this.
Would you change anything in the side deck eventually?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, depends on the matchups. I didn't use D-Barrier that often.
Proud was from the Recap profile. That's crazy that was the timing though. That is the funniest shit. If that's the actual timing on the cheering and everything, there's no way.
Any last words? Any shoutouts?
Yeah, I'm wondering why Josh didn't like the deck because I was pretty good and he didn't do so well. So maybe
Hey, yo, all right. No. Hey, yo, I've been saying. Okay, look. Nah, man, this is not fair, dude. This is not fair. It's not fair. I've been defending you the last 20 minutes, dude. I've been sitting here, you know. Oh my, no. We delete the VOD. We delete the VOD. We go back. We go. Okay, chat. This is what we do. All right. This is what we do. We delete the VOD. We start a new live stream. We watch the finals and we just bash on them the entire time. All right, that's the plan, right? That's what we do. That's what we need to do now to save some face. That's what we need to do. No, I mean, okay. I guess I'll allow it. I guess I'll allow it this one time. You earned the right to say that. You earned the right to say that. That's fine. That's all right. That's all right. I'll take it. I'll take it. Oh man. Okay. Now I understand why you guys wanted me to watch the deck profile. Now I understand why you guys wanted me to watch the deck profile. That's all right.
Maybe.
All right. Well.
All right.
Yeah. Shoutouts. Yeah. I said everything I wanted to say. Thank
Yeah, and you also said things you didn't need to say, but that's all right. You didn't need to say all that. They prepared that up front. They watched like my tier list or whatever, where I said Vanquish Soul wasn't that good, and they've been preparing that ever since. They've been preparing that ever since. To be fair, it would have been a little bit funnier if the Zeus would have been in attack position, because then it would have been a winner deck profile, you know? But, you know, you couldn't quite get the perfect setup done, but it is what it is. And now we're even. Now we're even. All right, what else was there? You're not even through? Wait, there's more?
Thanks for the deck profile, and yeah. Really nice.
No, thank you for the deck.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you.
Wait, there's nothing left. why? I've never been so. I've never been baited this much. I've never been baited this much in my life. All right, well. All right. Do we watch the Rika deck profile? I guess. I mean, I can already tell like most of the cards in the deck. I think we can go with a solid like 1.25 on it, but they did win a huge event, so we're gonna give them the honor to watch the Rika deck. I'm also considering, I am seriously considering freaking making a video on, or like having a stream where we all collectively learn how to play against Rika in Europe. That seems like something we should do. We as Europeans should probably take a moment, sit together, and learn how to beat that freaking deck, you know? Like apparently that's something we need to do. Apparently that's something we need. Apparently we have an issue. Apparently we have an issue with Rika. So maybe we freaking sit down and learn how to beat Rika at some point this week. Maybe we have to do that. Maybe that's the only way. Maybe that's the only way, you know.
Okay, Julius, you're in the first place, winning YCS Dortmund. So first of all, congrats with Rika again.
Yeah.
Okay, anything you want to say before we go to the list?
Yeah, but I'm German, I'm not UK, so I don't hit with Silvan.
Yeah. Anything you
Shoutouts
want
at
to
the
say?
end.
Shoutouts? Yeah, you can.
Shoutouts to Maxi King 1510 on DB. He had me test and also landed me cards.
On what?
Shoutouts to Felix, who also landed me cards. Shoutouts to Jonsen and all the guys out of Münster. And shoutouts to Tolga and Kira.
Okay. Okay. Let's see the list. Yeah.
Okay, so overall it's pretty standard, but we just begin with the Rika cards. Free Princess, very standard. It's one of the best decks in the deck. It's level 4. It negates. It's broken. So then 2 battle. Also normal tricks play, very standard. You could cut 1. It's like really important for the grind game. You can always tribute with Kong Kong and Glamour, so you can add low pay and this. Then 2
Revolutionary ratios
also
are
very
being
standard,
presented to us,
like
chat,
3
right
on
now.
each. You
Take
pick on it,
notes.
and then be both weird extremas, you can say. Like some situations they're good to draw. I saw draw this in game 1 in the final. It's like it's a sub-optimal extender, but it's kind of an extender. But you still need it to again tribute with Glamour to add this and this and this Emperor. So yeah.
How old is he again? I don't know.
Also really standard. This is
Looks
just,
young, but I don't know.
This card is just broken. Like it adds to plans. It's crazy, especially with this card. You don't need 3 bricks and like
16?
Can be always search it. It's sometimes good to draw, especially
That is crazy.
to the unfair matchup. It always baits at least 1 interruption, because if they don't, they just like lose their Caesar, and I can like add 2 plans. So they always interrupt us with like pop.
There's all kinds of numbers in chat right now. You guys are literally chatting. There's like people are saying he's 14, 17, all kind of numbers. Like you guys, if you don't know,
The normal monster.
just don't type.
I do it a lot.
It's not that hard.
Just for consistency. Also, it's like one of your best wall bridges in the middle. So it pushes to like none of these stats match with like any other plan, so you can always bridge into what you want. So yeah, pretty good. I would also play 2. Like Marcus Patel in Cancun. Played only 1, but yeah, I like 2. Then the 1 twin. It's heartbreak, but I do it like 4 times, it was fine. Most of the times I just banish it with, I banished it a couple times with small world, and if not, you like just, if you have die, it does not matter if you draw, so. Then the best card in my deck. So if you draw, you win. And I play 2 soul. Like some people cut 1, but I think like you need a second one just for grand game, especially if like I Jolt or like Ashed on this. You just want to have it to OTK next turn easily. Yeah. Then 3 Lily Barrier. Yeah, this is kind of standard right now. I just think like everywhere, a lot of people are playing Nib and like Ash, and this card just beats both. Because like if you draw this with like access to Loci, like this or Small World or Loci himself, you just like play for everything. Because you just normal Loci, link 1, use effects, then special distribute itself, get the regulars, so you just save from everything. Yeah, so really good. And also just broke weeks. Pittsburgh and Studios. This is like not a break, this is a planned extender, and also like the effect to protect comes up, especially with Dryas going second. This is just a break. I drew it in a I don't know. Yeah, the third game maybe. Yeah. Played 3 small words. I think that's standard right now. You just need the consistency. Like it's 46 cards. We have 80% drawing a 1-card combo, 80% drawing a 2-card combo. So it's actually pretty. I didn't break once except last game. The final. I also break kinda once into the Manadium player, but he had full ball, so I not would have won anyways. I played 1 Kaiju. You just need 1 non-engine to beat this going second in non-engine. Kurikara I didn't like because like. It's like not very good into Unchained because like the Link 2, they don't care about Kurikara, and like this into Caesar, they still negate 1 time, and with this they don't negate any time, so you just get this.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And that's just the lowest Kaiju. It's just matter this is level 8. I played 3 Ash. You could have played like any other hand trap, but I just felt this is the best one. Because it's like really good into Unchained as well. Like you just Ash the first thing, what do you see basically? What like the first pop or like the search as well. You just Ash it, and then most of the times you like I had a couple times that they just like passed. Okay. So this card was really good.
It's not most of the time that they pass, but there's a decent chance, right?
Luckily I didn't face any because like this deck doesn't play any back row basically, and also like I didn't prepare for Levy side. Play 3 Frost. This is with die the best card in my deck. Like always I do this with Loci, just like so safe. Yeah. I'll especially like going this block. The 1 talents and 1 hub. This is like so standard. And I played 3 droplets. You don't need a lot of cards to play with. You just need 1 Loci and it's OTK. So I just thought
that's
like,
fair.
You can also play like a card.
Droplet is like Droplet is good again. Droplet's back.
And also like you have so many spells you can chain it to. Like you can activate this. They negate with Caesar. You just chain this and this. Yeah. But you have to be careful. If they have both, you should send a monster because what they just do. And top card they just chain the red or the fat, and then it still resolves. But you still get rid of the Caesar basically.
I mean, yeah, this is dangerous, especially if they have the trap that pops 2 cards. They can still chain the pop trap, right, to dodge the droplet. But yeah.
So this is 46 cards. Okay. It does not really matter how high you play. Like at some regionals here in Germany, I played 50 cards, and also 60. Does at the end.
It's arbitrary, dude. Just play whatever.
Because you can also play more.
In Europe,
like you can play 1 for 1. You can play Lone Fire.
You open die anyways, or Loci or whatever.
Decision. Okay. It's a Loci. So we have like a lot of different like variants to play. Like yeah, the extra deck is completely standard. Like it's fixed. You don't have to change anything. 3 Dryas, 2 Healer, 1 Thresher, 2 Jasmine, 1 Sylvian. I never hit with this. Like I hit 1 monster, never 2. Like in game, what was it? 2? Was game 2 I think, where I just hit 1 princess, but it didn't matter because. Oh, it was what? I'm not sure. Maybe also was game 3. I don't know. What game 3? I never hit like more than 1, and only 1 is hitting not that good. And then these 2 just prone to OTK. I OTK so many times, just normal.
I think this is entirely standard, right? There's like the extra deck. I don't think there's been any changes to it in probably like 2 years or some shit.
It's just so good. I played the 4Cs. Completely standard. I'm not expanding anymore. Static. I played Caticorn. What this card does is...
Caticorn, no. What are we searching? Zombie World?
So this is just for if you get shifted. The only problem with that is you have to settle up another field for next turn, because you also cannot play under this. I never used it because I didn't play any Flounder. Okay. But like in field it's also good to sell it, because at top tables there were actually 1 or 2 sell it players.
Caticorn.
Yeah, this card also helps in that matchup. And also in dealing it's actually fun because they cannot do their link 1 shit.
Yeah, fuck them birds.
You won me a lot of games, those very trips are fair. This one I never used it, but it's there. Droplet and Eclipse I also play. I play Eclipse on the side and Droplet also outside.
So this is for like Ibli, right? But is it even? Does that even work in plants? Because then you have a full extra monster zone still. Isn't that still kind of a big problem for like the plant deck? Does Lingo even really work? Because you still can't unexpected die You still can't, whatever. You can crash. Well, yeah, okay. You can go battle phase and crash. Yeah. I guess. You can crash or droplet. Well, I mean, if you have droplet, you can just droplet away the Ibli.
It's like just so good in rescuers, and I had one more slot inside deck, so I just decided to play this. Like, just especially in rescuers, so link it away and have to trap negate instant there.
Yeah.
So yeah. But I never used it. I've had it in a couple of times blind because I didn't know what my opponent played, because I just went first full combo, he just scooped. Or in the spray matchup, in the feature match, I also sided it in. But
I mean, I guess it's good to have the option, right? If you don't need the space for anything else.
I played one tier, it was my only loss. I was 11-1 in Swiss, but I lost the 11th round. There was 10-0, so I was just already locked in the top part. So we just played basically for fun. Right. Yeah, he just full comboed me game 3, and yeah, I lost dice for there. But this card is like also very good in Unchained and in the early matchup and the Chimera and tier. It's like just very good.
The normal Ibli combo doesn't let you crash. What are people talking about? Yeah, but you're expecting too much from Twitch chat. What I was saying is, if you can crash the Ibli, theoretically you don't even need the Linger Rebo in that case. But since you probably are not able to crash the Ibli in that case, the Linger Rebo would be good. But I'm still wondering if the deck can combo consistently after you have a Linger Rebo on your side of the field, because you wouldn't be able to make the Dryas in the extra monster zone. You can't unexpected die. It seems rough to even be able to combo off, even if you have the out to Ibli, because you're still gonna be. It's kind of a lock still. Like, you're not under an Ibli lock, but you're still kind of locked out of a lot of things.
This got basically also whole.
I love Pank. I really wanted to play Pank. I had Pank in my deck until last minute, until I added the Spellbound into my side deck. I really wanted to play Pankratops. I think it's very good, this format. I wish it was more. I wish it was not limited anymore. This card does not feel too powerful anymore at all. I think it's so weird that Pankratops is still at 1.
One of the Chimera players, they already. I don't know how.
I think it's weird.
Summon, because I think I activated Kong Kong. Yeah, I activated Kong Kong. And they popped it with Guardian Chimera. Then they had Tiku sets and the full negates in the grave and the fusion. So just summoned back, attacked over the fusion and popped the. There can be only one, and the main phase 2 just normal low-cat and 1. 1 in time with healer. So in your,
cool.
Yeah, of course you can touch it.
Cool.
2 storms, that's really good. I didn't resolve it that much actually, but yeah, really good. Also, like in the final, he played Tizubu. I know that. You saw it get too much lost to it, and that's one of the cards to audit, but if you don't draw it. This card I never activated. I activated once in a team match.
How did I not draw my 2 of Lightning Storm in 46 cards? Not fair. That's not fair.
But was still some cards. Then I played IO. Okay. Send to set it fast. Just to look at people send and send one card. But I still played Debarrier because I just think like this better in Chimera and
the water art is foul.
Because this is just better here.
He drew it versus me for Zombie World. Oh, did you lose to him in top 64 or was? Oh no, it was last round of Swiss, right? That's what you said, right? Yeah.
So much gas to...
Can we ban D-Barrier? Honestly, literally, my only thought throughout this entire event, because I was thinking about, the entire weekend, I was thinking about how, like, diverse this format is. I was constantly thinking about how I had no issues with that. Like, most of the decks in this format are completely fine to play against. I had no issues with it, but every time people touch their side decks, I get scared as hell. And there's a significantly higher chance that we're not playing a real game of Yu-Gi-Oh! After siding. Like, it's like, I don't care if I'm playing against Unchained, Flu, whatever, like, you know, Vanquish Soul. Most, like, so many decks in the format are just completely okay, but then they start flipping D-Barriers and anti-spells and whatnot, and that shit just ruins the entire experience, I feel like, so often. So often. It's so cringe.
Like into Curly or Chimera, just instantly. It essentially pull you set.
It almost feels like no deck right now is too powerful or anything. It's literally just those particular cards that ruin the format. Like, it's not that there's 10 different decks. It's not that there's 20 different decks, whatever. It's that there's just so many things that you can't beat, right? Especially after siding. For some decks, it's even through game 1, right? The decks that main deck Shifter, the decks that main deck like Gimmick Puppet or Sun Avalon. That deck is also kind of a problem, I think. But you know, we're not gonna get into that right now. I think they should really focus on hitting some of those individual cards that win way too many games.
low kind of. So yeah, really good.
D-barrier helps budget decks, so don't touch those. That is, I don't think that's a very good take. A deck, every deck every deck gets a boost from D-barrier if they're sided, but it's your rogue deck is still gonna be a rogue deck even if you put D-barrier in it, and it's still probably not gonna be very good, unfortunately. Even if you D-barrier some people, you're not gonna be able to consistently beat better decks just by having D-barrier in your deck somewhere.
Yeah, 50 cards. Next to the center and next to the cards.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, yeah, I mean, that was a plant deck, you know. Plants is one of those decks that's I don't find it very exciting to look at the lists, but I mean, they played it well and they won, so congratulations. You guys are telling me to watch Telements. All right, let's see. Gabriel Nets and Henrik Bancroft's Telement deck that they talk. Gabriel Nets, by the way, I want to say a few things about Gabriel Nets. Gabriel Nets has been one of the most impressive people in the last couple, I want to say year, maybe even longer than that, of Yu-Gi-Oh! Like the amount of tops that Gabe has been getting is insane, and it's probably gonna. I don't think if there's any player I expect to win a YCS soon for the first time, it's Gabe. Probably out of all the people that are like on the come up right now, I think it's about time for Gabe, like, honestly.
Hey guys, Gabe from Disciples, and I'm here with Henry, who also got top 32, and Marcus, who showed up. And we, I top 8.
That was foul. You didn't need to do that.
With Telements. So
Okay, this is a little loud.
And yeah, what do you guys have to say?
The deck was really good. I think in testing, it performed the best. They had the ability to win games going second, and going first, there was so many auto-win buttons. Like you could beat Ash in Perm with like all these cards. So yeah, it was really good.
And I think our list is very different from other people play, because we're not playing King of the Swamp. So we're going for
no King of the Swamp. I like that.
Nitro deck, and honestly, it was so good.
Are you on team no King of the Swamp? The versions that I was testing for this YCS did not have King of the Swamp anymore. Yeah.
Well, it's like very unfortunate games. I might have watched the top 8 feature against Vanquish Zone. But in general, it felt like I had a better deck in the room every game I played. So yeah.
I think we were very lucky because Gabe had been playing this deck 1 month prior to Euros and really sweat it out and really realised what the good cards are, what the bad cards are, and how to play this deck. So massive bonus.
Yeah, let's go through it. So main deck.
The thing about King of the Swamp is that the card is a good mill exclusively. It's nothing else, and it is a good mill because it opens up so many fusion possibilities. But it's not even a good mill on its own. It's a card that you want in your graveyard, but then you still rely on milling and resolving another card in order to make use of it. Plus, it's very bad in your hand. It's very bad in your hand. So I think King of the Swamp is just asking your deck to you're just asking your deck to variance you out of the tournament by playing a card like King of the Swamp. Like it's not a terrible card, but it's just like I don't think it's very good. It's not even bad in your hand. It is way worse than all of the other cards that you can play instead in your hand. Searching a Polymerization is just awful. It's just awful.
One. They are limited. Treat your cash is like the best card in your deck, and the way the deck wins is by starting to mill.
Rosa are playing Malicious instead? Yeah, Malicious is way better. Like, I thought Malicious was great when I tested. I loved the Malicious version as well. I hope they're playing Denier too.
You get out of the early game and you start milling, you just don't lose your games. And this is a good mill and a good draw. So. And then one thing we did for normal summons, we played 3 Rhino and 1 Diviner. A couple of lists are playing like multiple Diviners. Our argument is that Rhino's a better mill, and we're...
How is Mali better in hand though? Well, every monster with a graveyard effect, you're going to need a way to get it out of your hand. Like, I'm not saying Mali is a better draw. I'm saying Mali is better overall. 1 Diviner, I don't think I agree with. Like I said earlier, my issue with tier was mostly that I needed to find... I personally thought you needed to find Kelbeck Argido consistently, otherwise you would be in trouble a lot of the times. At least in my testing against like good Unchained players, I was like, if I can't get to like critical mass in milling, I would have a problem. Rhinoheart is a very balanced... My guess is that they were trying to play triple Scream, which Scream Rhinoheart is still a very good opener. I didn't think Rhinoheart was a good draw whenever I didn't have Scream. That was a problem for me.
Bahamut Shark. So Rhino really helps, because sometimes even if you're early normal summon the Rhino, you mill Rhino to just put them to gather into Baja Shark. The Diviner as a one-off was good for me, I don't know how it was for you guys.
Yeah. It was really good for me. It comes up a couple of times. It's the 5th normal with Merlin, so the maths is good.
That was not a legal play that he just said, right? Did he say Rhino and then mill a Rhino?
For me, it comes
Diviner as a one-off was good for me, I don't know how it was for you guys. Put them to gather into Baja. So Rhino really helps, because sometimes even if you're early normal summon the Rhino, you mill Rhino to just put them to gather into Baja Shark.
Yeah, you can't send Rhino with Rhino. I guess maybe he means you normal summon a Rhino and then you mill a Rhino randomly later. I think that's what he's saying. Yeah. I think that's what he's saying.
The Diviner as a one-off was good for me, I don't know how it was for you guys.
Yeah. It was really good for me. It comes up a couple of times. It's the 5th normal with Merlin, so the maths is good.
I mean, Rhino Heart is a good mill. If you have any tier card in your hand, Rhino Heart is just a very, very strong mill. So I can kind of understand the logic behind wanting to play 3, because a card that is a good draw, or like a decent draw and a good mill in a deck like this is a very valuable card, because most cards, or like a lot of cards, are either good mills or good draws, and Rhino Heart can be both. So I think that's one advantage.
I'm being a 2-turn back of Cross Sheep, and also when you link with Merlin into Sprint, you can chain a Shuffler. Yeah, put Merlin back because it's legal.
You think tier needs more hits, or is it fine now? I think the Ishizu cards need to go. That's the one. That's my take. I think tier in itself is not a problem and will never be a problem. I freaking hate the Ishizu cards still. Even at 1, I think it's still very frustrating to play against, and very much sometimes it feels even worse because the deck is not even that consistent anymore. It just feels so arbitrary that like my opponent goes Scream and then mills a Kelbeck, and suddenly they can do everything they want in the world, and I know that card that they just milled is a freaking one-of, and that just feels so much more frustrating to play against. So much less controlled, right? There's no control at all, right? Whereas like when Tier Limit was tier 0, yes, the deck would mill, like there was randomness to it, but the deck was so consistent and all the cards were at 3 that there was a level where there was planning. There was planning you could do, because your average mills would pretty much always be the same. Like you would just mill the stuff that you were mill, like that it was there. Like you could calculate with the things that there would be there, right? Like right now, all the names are at 1, all the Ishizus are at 1. It feels so arbitrary playing against tier, right? It seems very awkward, and I would prefer having the Ishizu cards banned. And if they did that, honestly, I would even be fine at giving tier back some of the other tools, like bringing some of the one-of tier names back to 2 or 3, so that they can consistently mill a tier name. Like I've never had a problem when my opponent just went like activate Scream, mill a tier name. That's always been fine, right? That's never been a problem. The problem is activate Scream, mill a freaking Kelbeck. That's when it becomes ridiculous. So I think the Ishizu cards have always been the issue.
Because it's actually about
and they still are.
And I call them normal summons, because sometimes you have the other bricky cards like the Nayers and Modora, stuff like that, and then there are normal summons. So really happy with the one Diviner, and it's good, very good going second to some boards, like into Unchain and Purdy. So like I played an Unchain guy, he made a full board, and also Diviner, moved a Guido, hit 5 attacks. It was great.
See?
I wish I could hit them in top 8. One Kelbeck, one Aguido, one Caldo, one Modora. Yeah?
Good cards.
Good cards. If you don't play Modora, you're crazy. So one thing, we play Dangers over King of the Swamps. Basically, if you don't play King of the Swamps, you gotta play something to fuse with. Because you gotta...
So one thing I like about Nessie, in particular, that I've been thinking about, is that it is a dark aqua monster. Because I found Beatrice to be the best thing you could do with tier limits. Like I really like going for Beatrice because it just opens up so many plays on your turn and then also translates into another play on your opponent's turn. Like I think Beatrice is by far the best thing you can do. And Nessie helps with that because it's a dark aqua which lets you make Garura. It's so hard to make Garura with tier limits now because you only have one of each tier name, and the tier names, because of like the nature of tier, is that they probably go back into your deck, so it's very hard to have 2 tier names in the grave at the same time to make a Garura with, and Nessie can really help with that.
You gotta use your tier effect with something. And we thought those were the best because A, they got you out of the early game by just revealing, pitching bricky cards out, and with the Cross Sheep, the extra bodies have some value of Nessie. And Nasty is at Dark Aqua, so we really focus on Beatrice.
Yeah.
So we play Mali, Bestials, and Nasty. So we try to turbo into Beatrice every hand as well.
I like that.
But yeah, honestly, if I play King of the Swamp, I'll have Brick like 5 times. Because the amount of times I went like Danger Effect to just play, it's crazy. Even into a board, right? Like sometimes you just like reveal a Danger, and you can draw into your side cards, draw into Poly, draw into one card.
And this was one issue when I played Danger tier. Playing into Unchained Caesar was really hard for me with a version like that one. This is why I ended up discarding Tearlaments as a deck choice. Is I thought the Unchained matchup was not that great. Going second, going first it was fine, like completely fine. Going first it was fine against Unchained. Going second I had some issues because there's a lot of like some parts of your deck just die to the Caesar a little bit too hard sometimes. But
and I think going second in general, V-Body is so valuable, especially against like Curly when you want to threaten Underworld Goddess.
Yeah. And
it
even,
was really hard.
and even against like Unchained, because he makes Dark, and then the Dark is awkward, because Dark can take something. If you crash the Dark, you search Sharon. I want a game like this, just making Dark, searching Sharon, pitch callback. So yeah, I'm really happy with those. It could technically be a second target. I missed it like once in future. But I think it's needed, because like realistically, that is a better mill, because you want to play a lot of Darks for Mud anyway. And then we play the Motion Obvious. Goten.
that's good.
It's not so good. It's like the best move of the deck. Dysentery Karma. I started siding this out, like in testing, but I realized I just keep this in every time. Because it's so good to mill on their turn,
Slumpy and Pansy Cake, thank you guys for the subs. Appreciate you guys. Thank you so much.
And like this tier does so much with this extra card, because this extra card can become like 10 mils if you pair them, right? Like
I wonder
stuff like that.
I wonder if we're playing
Winda
for the
Winda,
one beast. I'm not sure. I had an opponent that played Winda, but they also played like the Hollow Shaddoll and stuff like that. And they sided Shaddoll Fusion. Dude, Shaddoll Fusion in the side deck destroyed me when I played Pearly. Like that was that shit. Oh my, I got destroyed so hard by Shaddoll Fusion one time in Pearly. That was crazy.
Then the Destiny Heroes, we did double Mali on the Denier. A couple people cut the Denier. It was very, very
They didn't even send. No, they didn't even send the Shaddoll that they did not even send the Shaddoll that stops you from activating Noir. They didn't do that. They just send like Kelbeck. they freaking sent Kelbeck and Beast to make, what is this thing called, dude? I already forgot. Shekinaga, dude. I had to pick up Shekinaga and read it because it's been 10 years or whatever since I've seen that card. No, I'm more like 8. But freaking Shaddoll Fusion was draw 1, mill 5, put a body onto the board. God damn, I got destroyed by that.
I think that when you have Mali Denier, like you make dangerous.
I won that game, but it felt really bad in that spot. I just realized I won that game, but it felt crazy in that moment.
So you pitch one, dump the other, and then you can Mali, summon the Denier.
I love the Diviner. The Denier, not the Diviner. The Denier. That's great. The Destiny Hero package felt really good for me in testing.
And then like you got your Cross Sheep, and then this is on the deck again. So like you link something off with your Cross Sheep, and then you use the guy that Denier put back to summon this again, and then this Cross Sheep triggers. And then after this, these are batteries, and the guy you summoned off, you can link for sprint. So the Denier is very, very good. And it's another name that you can mill to make the dangerous created. So yeah, very happy with those. And then we play Triple Druis, no Magnum but the main deck. Triple Druis.
Oh, Druis in the main deck.
That's the good non-engine against Enchained. Because
how many cards is this, Gabe?
Plays around Nib and plays around.
Gabe, how many cards is this?
Like layers, they go
I'm scared.
up their Soul of Rage, and then you can
Oh, it's 40,
there.
okay.
You check the Soul of Rage, and this threatens
it looked very large. I thought we were almost, I thought we were already like 30 cards in, but it only looks so large because it's double sleeved. I was scared for a second.
I never actually did this against Enchained, but it was good for me in a couple scenarios, like just hitting. I played Mirrors, of course. It's good against Dragon Link. You can just summon this and make this when you go first.
It doesn't feel like a 40 card deck. Like we've watched all the tier elements. There's been Dangers. There's been Destiny Heroes. There's Bestials. It doesn't feel like this does not feel like a legal 40 card submission. I feel like maybe they changed the way counting works. I'm not sure.
Or like you hit a Mali, or you have a Garura. So yeah, really happy with the Druis.
It was very good for me. Especially going second, like same with Destiny, because it's just 8 body.
Yeah.
It trades so well. I think it's almost better than Magma this one going second, because being able to like send something is so relevant.
Yeah, like because of Unchained specifically, it made sense to go True Druids. We had True Druids when Magma was a debate. We ended up going for Triple Druids. If I had Magma Druids, I would have made Beatrice because I drew double Druids.
Just finished watching the VOD with your deck profile. Retrospective, would you have played the Dark Lord for time? I'm not sure. There's two options, in my opinion, when it comes to Pearly. You either don't play the deck, or you find something that helps you with the time situation, because that was such a huge issue for me. Not being able to just scoop game 2 early and start game 3 because I knew I was going to lose. So you need some solution for it. I don't know what exactly the solutions are that you have, right? The possible options, but you have to find this. I would not recommend bringing Pearly to a tournament if you don't have a fix for the problem. So yeah, that's that.
Anyways, triple field spell, no terraforming. So
I'm trying to think if there's a thing that Gabe could say right now that makes me say, yep, that's correct.
Sounds crazy, but we want to like maximize the amount of good mills in the deck, and terraforming is technically a mad mill. So before
okay, hear me out. But if you play 2 Pearl Rhino and a terraforming, if you draw the terraforming, you make your mills better by thinning the deck off of a Pearl Rhino. Like, technically, the terraforming is a better draw than the Pearl Rhino because you make your mills better afterwards. And they both are equally bad of a mill, right? I think even in that case, you would probably rather play 2 Pearl Rhino, 1 terraforming. There's only one thing where that doesn't work, and that's if you mill both Pearl Rhinos and then draw a terraforming later. That's when it's worse than Pearl Rhino directly. I assume Droll was also a factor.
We had terraforming this lot, but we played card destruction instead. And this card is like crazy because it's a crazy push going second, while terraforming is not. Also, like, you really don't want to draw a dead card, like double Pearl Rhino is very bad. So getting terraforming also diminishes.
Okay, so Droll doesn't really seem to be the reason here. I think that's just incorrect then. Like, it's not, I don't think it's like a terrible mistake. Like, I get what I do get is I don't want to play 4 Pearl Rhinos because they don't play another target for terraforming because there's no Fenrir. So there's no like Wraith Soth. So I can kind of understand the sentiment of I don't want to play 4 Pearl Rhinos. I'm going to cut 1 because they're not that great of a mill. I can get behind that. However, I don't think you cut the terraforming, because if you draw terraforming, it's just significantly better than the Pearl Rhino in that sense. Or like maybe not significantly better, but it is better because you're gonna grab the Pearl Rhino out of your deck, which deck thins, right? His deck makes Beatrice every turn. Beatrice into Terry Karma is always a play. He always has access to the field spell. I mean, yeah, but that's only like going down from 4 to 3 Pearl Rhinos is fine, in my opinion. I think that's okay. But I think if you want to play 3 Pearl Rhinos total between Pearl Rhino and terraforming, I don't think you go 3 Pearl Rhino. I think you go 2 Pearl Rhino, 1 terraforming, because terraforming makes your mills slightly better. It's only slightly, right? Taking 1 Pearl Rhino out of your deck only increases your chances of good mills like slightly. But then like having that slight increase of a better mill, if in a deck that mills all the time, I think is relevant.
There's a chance. So I was very, very happy on not playing Terra. Card destruction was very good. I never card destruction the mirror, thank God. But card destruction like a guy, and I trigger like 4 effects.
Card destruction seems mad. Yeah, that shit is probably good. I didn't play it, but now that I'm seeing it, I'm like, yeah, that's probably good.
Right. So sometimes you're like a Guido Calback people, they card destruction them, and they have like 15 cards.
No Fenrir is interesting. Like, honestly, I think Fenrir is very good in tier. I think having like 1 Terra, at least like even something. I had lists that literally played 1 Fenrir because I didn't want to draw too many of them. I didn't want to mill them very often, but I wanted like 1 Terra, 1 Wraith Soth, 1 Fenrir. Because if you ever draw the terraforming, you can go Wraith Soth, Fenrir, Tier Cash, which is such an advantageous sequence to get all those cards for basically free. Yeah. I think one Fenrir and one Wraith Toss are pos. I think they are good. I don't think it's necessarily wrong to not play them, but I think they're good.
Of their deck out, then you shuffle the things back and mill them again.
With Dangers, you're right, Skrelp. With Dangers, it changes a little bit. If you're not gonna play Dangers, maybe it changes. But with like sometimes you're gonna Danger draw into a Fenrir. Sometimes you're going to, I don't know, have some stuff on the board and then use card destruction and then draw the Fenrir. I can see those things, right? And so in this particular build, I think I'm okay with no Fenrir.
So funny, man. Additional lab guy was terrifying. Foolish, because the best card in the deck, just a Bagido. Goods over...
You can't tell me to shut up. You can't tell me to shut up, Skull. That's not how it works.
Goods over Terraforming, because you play Trivic Karma, so it can be Field Spell, but it can be Scream as well. Or Heartbeat, or so yeah, really those.
Or terrible name or whatever.
Yeah. Also, one cool thing, like you can... if you're afraid of draw, you can dump Sulyak instead of dumping Trivic Karma, and he plays around draw. And he puts a tier name in grave, so if you have a tier cache, you can dump the guy, and then you already have something in grave to start playing. Heartbeat and Triple Scream. Again, get off the early game, good mill.
I like that.
Double Sulyak and Trivic Karma. This card is very good. I was keeping it going second, remember you guys?
You have to, same.
Because like, whenever I get to mill, is the best one because it just gets planted and puts so much pressure to start clearing the board. And a bunch of matchups like Mirror, for example, a lot of milling happens, and or like there's matchups like in Chain and Purdy that you're guaranteeing going to mill, so you need good cards to mill to break the board. So very happy I kept this in. Like, you can also pitch it for Poly and Heartbeat.
Obviously, like wins going second. It just plays our engine going over the opponent.
Yeah.
So you do like more mills, just play through that board.
Like into Purdy, for example, you let them make the thing, and then you just start throwing things on the board. They don't have enough noirs to shuffle
You
the
just
thing
need
back.
like more value to mill.
Yeah, and then we did double talents. This was very, very good for me.
It feels like I just watched a 60 card deck profile. Like if you guys didn't tell me this was 40, I would have guessed like 47 or some shit like that.
There's a lot of hand traps around.
It's not feel like the 40 card
deck. The deck is very good. It's breaking boards. So you guys just talent stake anything and then keep pushing.
I feel like we just looked at so many cards.
More gas. It's good to chain. It's good.
But I guess the
and...
one thing that this deck is that's where all the space comes from. That's why it feels so unusual, right? To all the other decks in the format is because this deck has like almost no non-engine, right? What is there? There's 2 talents. And I guess Druid Swarm is like a middle way between engine and non-engine, but that's it. Like that's literally it. Everything else is just gas, right? And so I'm thinking like, oh, okay, they played all the gas and so little non-engine, and just like that's just that. I guess that's 40.
Yeah, I really gotta play this. Also, when you mill them, sometimes they trigger like a Shavad or a Fiendish Rhino, and then you just handle. Also very good in the mirror.
Yeah, 40 cards.
40, yeah. You want to mill like yugioh?
Yep.
Usually helps. Let's do extra. These are extras a bit different.
You think Super Poly is better than Talons in the main? I think Super Poly is awful right now. I think against most top decks, Super Poly is not very good against. Most of the time.
Not a lot of fusions. So it's one Kaleido, one Garura, one Sapilia, one Mondragon, and the one Dangerous.
No, that's all you need.
So
that's one of the other key advantages of cutting the King of the Swamp, which is, it might sound trivial and not that important, but getting extra deck spaces is pretty good. Because playing the King of the Swamp makes you play a lot of stuff in the extra deck.
We can summon.
Where's Rule Kalos? Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
Rule Kalos or Grapha. I think this was fine. Sometimes I missed the second Mondragon, but we only had like one real flex spot in our extra deck, so that was about it. Yeah. Also, nice D-bet here. Because I'm playing XYZ tier, because I play 6 XYZ. Yeah. So, Redoer, to trigger on Sharon, and comes up Penetration. Dweller. Bahashar. Toad.
Ooh.
This card is so cool.
Ooh.
Real Toad. So, like, you make a lot of
dude, you know what's sick? Using Toad to negate something and then adding back tier cash from your graveyard in case you have, if you don't have it already, if you couldn't set it up on your opponent's turn. It basically lets you add back a hand trap as well. That's sick.
Yeah.
I just had a major flashback to the weekend. I did not enjoy that. I did not enjoy that statement. That hurt deep down in my soul right now. God damn.
So Bahashar can summon this. It's like before you play into nib, or like in a scenario that if they nib you have a Sharon on the field and the Sharon will trigger. And this Toad is super cool because A, it's an aqua, so you can shuffle it for Kaleido Heart. B, when you tribute it, you just get the tier cash back. So a lot of times the end board you end on has Toad, Kaleido, Sprint, Beatrice, a trap, and then this tributes and get the tier cash back. So yeah, I really like this. It was very, very good for me.
It was something. This was something I had been trying to play, but it's never ended up in my lists because of just space issues. But I mean, I think it's good.
In under 5 summons,
Yeah.
that's very good at beating.
Oh, it's also another cool play. Like when you're going second, you can Bahamut Shark summon this, and then make Sprint with those two. And then this adds a tier cash back from grave and it up a Merly. I was about to do it. Azus. Oh, I chew. I think the first time I saw this card was top 8.
It's fair enough.
It just wasn't good.
This did not come up that much for me.
It kind of makes sense to play Talons and Duel or Zeus, Windpin in the mirror. And Beatrice, because the deck is Beatrice Turbo, the best card of the deck by far. Then for lanes, Dark Sprint. Fellowship was very good. I was skeptical before. I don't believe it. This card's so good.
I swear to God, these freaking announcements are not that clear when you're in the venue. Somehow they only ruin videos. You can never hear a single word when they actually do them live.
A lot of times you can summon an XYZ and a fusion and finish their guys to kill. But yeah, this card's so good. Just being able to summon back Diviner, summon back any level 4s. You can link Sharon away, just bring it back and make rework the Sharon. And our last one, which is the one we were unsure of, we played Underworld Goddess. So because we're not making any Noir out, we're not making Kaijus, we wanted some respect for Pearly in case they just made the big one with the Lich and just sat on it. It happened to me one game.
Okay, this is I played one match against Tier. I played game 1. I set up a huge Noir with Delicious under it. It has 5,000 defense, and they start playing into it. And I just start spinning their shit at some point because I'm surely they play Goddess to out it. And then after the match, they were like, "Yeah, I didn't have an out to in my deck to Noir. If you just didn't use it, I would have lost." I was like, "Cool, nice. Thank you for telling me that. Now I feel bad."
I also summoned this card randomly, in Flunder throughout Empan and stuff like that. Because you play the Naira and Mali, you have either.
I was like, "There's no way." You don't have any out in your deck.
Probably would play it again. I don't know why would change the extra deck.
No Baron? Okay, there's no Baron in here, which I think makes some sense. Because they decided to only play one Diviner, and they are trying to make Beatrice anyways with that, probably. I think it's okay to not play Beatrice. I still think my favorite version of the deck would probably still play some more Diviners and then play Baron over something else. But I think with one Diviner only and the goal of making Beatrice, I think it's all right to not play Baron.
I kind of want another fusion, but oh no.
No solid.
Yeah, and then side deck, Crime to go first. We played 1 Trust, 1 Change of Hearts. So these are Unchained side deck. These are talents
Come
before.
on, dude, no.
But we realized that this is kind of better because we can.
This is our Unchained side deck.
We can search card destruction and Foolish Brew as well. And if you get drawn out of those games, you're not winning anyways.
So funny.
This is very good for me. There's a game against Unchained that I drew this talent. And then did this for Change of Heart. Yeah. Change of Heart a guy, he changed Cave, then I Talons look ahead and killed him.
Having 2 different take cards is very good on Trust.
And Change of Heart, it's easier for the mirror, because if you did Weller, you can trust, take Change of Heart,
The deck is so tight. It seems like one of those decks where you don't have that much things to side in for every single matchup. You just kind of rely on your engine to do it, right? Your engine needs to do it.
As well.
Also because in Tier you have so few non-engine cards, this being able to be anything is incredible.
I was being able to double up as a good engine card. You can search card destruction, which comes up a couple times. You can search Foolish. And technically Foolish Goods that searches Suits as well, then for
he
Pearl,
tweeted that he would play the Strudo Baron if he has space. This Strudo is a good card in this deck. Yeah, the Strudo is nice because it's just a free mill. You can draw it as an extender. It can be level 4 for whatever purposes. Well, making it level 4 is hard because it only works with what? Havness? But you would, most of the time it would just be a level 3, so you can turn tier cash into a Baron. That's really nice. Right? You can turn it into a Baron. Yeah, that's nice.
It's the best card to early because ideally you don't want them to draw off the big Gnar, as they can draw draws and throws and whatever and ashes. So it is very good.
And then you put it into anything that makes Dweller against you as well, right?
I will say I was very scared of this card. I will say one thing about my Pearly list with all the draw engine that I really liked over the weekend was, for me, it was relatively easy to play around Herald of the Abyss. Like, a lot of people, there was a surprising amount of people that just relied on Herald of the Abyss as their out to Noir. And the easiest way to outplay Herald of the Abyss is by simply setting one extra purely quick play spell. If you have one extra purely quick play spell set, if they activate Herald of the Abyss, you just chain it to summon out Pure Lily, and that's also a Dark Fairy, right? So that was my way of playing around Herald of the Abyss the entire weekend. I will say I had one instance of an Omega heart attack because I set up a Noir with 8 materials and a set quick play spell. Then during their draw phase, I drew, I think it was 3 cards. I think I had all Sleepy Memories under it because I also had the field spell. I drew like a bunch of cards, and I freaking drew my remaining 2 Pearl Lilies. I had one under Noir, and I drew into both during their standby phase. I had the set quick play spell ready to out Herald of the Abyss. I drew double Pearl Lily in their standby phase. They go main phase. First thing they do is activate Thrust. And I'm just out there shitting myself right there. Like, I'm just there, oh my god, there's no way that's just happening. There's no way that's how I lose this. This is just like, nah, the universe is against me right now. But they didn't main deck. They didn't main deck Herald of the Abyss. They did not main deck it. They didn't have it. They were like, they set an Unchained Trap with the Thrust. So I was very relieved. The heart attack kind of cured itself because they didn't main deck Herald of the Abyss. That was crazy.
Against Rascois, and I put it against Vanquish, but I don't know if I should so far. Maybe I should.
Is there a world where we go back as Tearlament players playing Diviner and Herald of the Orange Light? No. There's like, Herald of the Orange Light just is not a good deal when you only have 4 good discards for it. I wonder what happened to that.
Good card, Peekaboo. It was very good for me. I beat a Rika guy because I just like, he full comboed, I saw Peekaboo, I flipped Peekaboo. It was draws before, but our fear
in that specific instance against Rika Sun Avalon, the usage of Peekaboo is allowed and based.
Flounder, the draw doesn't work because if you draw them,
that is the one instance where it's allowed and okay.
Just for the Featherstorm.
Very based.
And if they shift to the draws that. So this works going first and going second, and it's a bit more reliable. And you can say they're going first against Unchained, going first in like Rika, Dragon Lane. We're doing against Pearly, then we decided not to after. But yeah, pretty glad for me. Yeah. Triple Poly. I was a big advocate for this card. It was very good for me. It's very good in all the shitter decks. Rescue, Sprite, Lab.
I like not maining it, but I think it's a good side card.
Chimera, you name it. Good. And then we side the 2 Bestials to respect the mirror, so Magnet and Baldrake. Going first, you can side this Mag as well in place of one of the Juice Worms. It's better to draw going first. The Baldrake, I played the Tearmere round 1, and I drew the Baldrake, and we were deciding if this was Baldrake.
You want my profile is not on YouTube yet, but I can share the drive link. I think we've talked about enough tier with just one. I mean, even the stuff that he didn't play, we talked about. So I think I'm fine with one.
So yeah. Sprint. Yeah, sprint. That was it. I really enjoyed playing tier. I really felt like I had the best deck in the room, and I felt that I was playing to a very good level. I'm trying to get excited because I'm 3 out of 4. I mean, we all did insane the last couple months, right? Like.
Yeah, no, Gabe has been on a tier. No pun intended. All right, what else is there that was like really interesting? There's like there's Dragon Link. I guess we can check what Dragon Link is doing, because Dragon Link was very successful at this YCS. Dragon Link was very successful at this YCS. So let's
Bentornati ragazzi su canale L'Arma. Oggi siamo qui.
Alright, it's Italian. So let's just look at the cards. Lithium's Monarch list. Oh yeah, we need to look at Lithium's deck, and we need to look at the 9-year-old that made top 64.
Come mai questa scelta? Innanzitutto post-banded?
Io pensavo che post-banded con la Rise bannato, i tier rinascimentali.
Faccio vedere che figurine hai giocato, vai.
Allora, ho giocato
Stessa
lista di ISO.
la lista è mia e lui me l'ha copiata.
Ok.
He was 14? Wait, 14? Not 9? People said 9. Aw. That's still crazy, to be fair.
Portare il black metal per dare consistenza.
But people said 9 years.
Dopodiché giocavo 3 safer, vabbè, standard.
If he was 9, he would have been in Dragon Duels. Well, there's a lot of people, I think, there's a lot of Dragon Duelists that play the main event, because I don't think they start at the same time in Europe. I think that's a thing where people play main event and then also Dragon Duel if they don't do well in the main event. I'm not sure. Yeah, Dragon Duel's only on Sunday. Yeah, that's why most Dragon Duelists get to try the main event on day 1, and then if they don't do well, they can play the Dragon Duel on Sunday.
Purtroppo monocaspis. Forse l'ho usata solo una volta, vabbè. Però avendolo utilizzata solo una volta, questo fa capire quanto il mazzo.
Is Dragon Link, real talk, is Dragon Link just the same deck as before, but take out 2 Chaos Space, take out 2 Magnamute? Is that what's happening?
Anche per questo che abbiamo giocato molto più engine, per comunque renderlo ancora più esplosivo, dopo che c'è stata la limitazione di Chaos Space. Infatti dopo vedete la lista che
Yeah, right? That's literally just it.
Poi giocavo Regained, che vabbè, per forza è master, e giocavo Destiny Main. Destiny Main perché? Perché mi aspettavo tanti troll.
His list? Okay, hold up, let me check. No, yeah, that's a whole ass last format deck list. That's a whole ass last format deck list, literally. Just the -2 Chaos Space, -2 Magnamute. Literally. The 1-for-1 thing is new, yeah. 1-for-1 is new as a starter, I guess. That's a whole ass innovation right there. Yeah. Yeah. Everything else is the exact same. Everything else is the exact same. I mean, you guys are not gonna like to hear it. You guys are not gonna like to hear, but that's why I talked about banning Striker Dragon, because that would have actually changed the way people play dragons. But you know, I got the heat for that. But you know, let's not open up that thing again. Where is the presumably 14-year-old? It was Cornelia, that one. Yeah. I mean, when people said this guy's 9 years old, I could believe it. I have no idea how a 9-year-old looks these days, dude. To me, they're all like they all look way too young to be real. Like when I think about people that are born like later than what, like 2005 or something, that shit seems unreal to me anyways. How the hell is your birthday like in the 2000s? That's a crazy concept, to have birthday after the year 2000. That's a crazy thing to be. Anyways, so I don't know how young exactly they are. Apparently, like I heard people say 9 years old. Apparently, it's 14. Either way, insane to top your first YCS at the age of 14. That is a crazy thing to do. So yeah, let's see it.
Doktor, ich verliere immer alle Yu-Gi-Oh! Duelle. Kleine Frage, die wird wahrscheinlich
It is in German.
Wie alt bist du?
Ich bin 14.
He's 14. We now have confirmation. Just said it.
Holy shit. Frage, die wird wahrscheinlich in den Kommentaren aufkommen. Wie alt bist du?
Ich bin 14.
14.
Holy shit. Meinen größten Respekt. Einfach ultra geil. Dann würde ich sagen, kommen wir mal zum Deck-Profile.
Also heute habe ich Banlist gespielt, Banlist Espia,
Ja.
also Fusion.
Genau, dreh die am besten um.
Jo.
Ja.
Fusion.
Einmal die beste Karte.
Jo. Dann haben wir unsere Starter.
Ja.
Dann
Ja.
Den habe ich ebenfalls 3-mal gespielt. Der ist einfach sehr gut, weil er
Write that down.
Fusion Sash.
Ja.
Natürlich darf Lost auch nicht fehlen.
Lost, ja.
Die eigentlich einer der besten Karten, würde ich sagen. Dann um natürlich Access für Aluba oder Guiding Camp zu haben.
Ja.
3-mal das Opening.
3 Openings?
Jo.
Such a wholesome deck profile, dude.
Für Consistency Albion,
It's
den habe ich
great.
heute 3-mal gespielt, weil er
3 Albions?
Ja,
Okay, krass.
weil meine Draw Engine war halt einfach.
3 Albions.
Ich fand das sehr, sehr schön.
Ja.
Weil da konnte ich einen Boardbrecher ziehen, zum Beispiel Super Poly. Ja. Natürlich dann noch Deployment für je nachdem Cartesia oder Albas. Was halt, oder vielleicht auch Dark Magician, was manchmal vielleicht aufkommt. Hier Cartesia.
Eine?
Genau, nur eine, weil
Right
die
hat es weg,
Cycles, ja genau, die Cycles bin ich ja. Dann Albas. Ich habe ihn 3-mal gespielt, weil 2-mal ist zu wenig, würde ich sagen.
Ja.
Also, ja.
The suspense, dude.
Ja, also ich habe das Friendship Package.
It's very unpredictable. Which card is he gonna pull out next? Not like we're not done with the monsters. We're not done with the spells. Anything could happen, dude. The freaking gimmick puppet could be the very last card in the deck profile, or it could not be there at all.
Patrick Engine, okay, nice.
Genau, das habe ich auf 3 gespielt, also alles. Stimmt. Alle auf 3.
Ja.
Oh, spoilers, Tragedy.
Ja.
Und 3 Polis?
Nee, nur 2, aber.
2 Polis, okay.
Ja.
Ja, das reicht ja.
Also ich fand die heute sehr, sehr gut.
Ja.
Kann man ja auch raus sein, wenn man. Ja.
Alright, it's full Patrick Engine, 6.
Dann haben wir auch
6 of them things.
bei Tragedy gespielt, weil mit Allure kommt man halt.
Triple Tragedy. All gas, no breaks.
Für Red und Red auch.
Okay, nice.
Die habe ich 2-mal gespielt, weil du kannst Chimera bauen und viele andere Sachen.
Ja.
Dann eine Limited.
Ja.
Finde ich ganz fein.
This deck is just from 2022, right? This is just basically how people used to play Branded.
Die Guiding Quem ist gerade Null Target.
Well, besides Quem, Cartesia, Fusion Deployment, of course.
Allure. Wie gesagt, wegen der Tragedy.
1 Allure, 2 Allure, 3 Allure.
Und als Non-Engine, also erstmal noch die Foolish.
Bro, we gotta find space on this playmat. Where is the next card gonna go? Here? When are we finally putting a card here? That's what I'm wondering. That's all I'm wondering.
Tragedy. Dark Magician für
No!
Ja.
Stop. Put it there.
Goldsack auch für Tragedy oder Merc.
Oh my god, we're wandering down the table.
Kann ihn fischen.
Oh no, where does this go? Okay.
Dann Non-Engine war Tactics.
Ja.
Die Karte war sehr, sehr gut. Meistens zum Übernehmen oder Handdrip halt. Und Super Poly darf natürlich auch nicht fehlen.
Right, Super Poly goes there,
Genau,
yep.
Die war sehr mit. Und Dragon, ich habe den jetzt mal ausprobiert.
Dragon?
Kam heute fast nicht vor, aber also der Gedanke ist ganz gut.
Wait, that's it? There's no gimmick puppet? This is just branded from last year. That's based.
Ja, dann das Extra Deck.
Ja.
Oh no, where does the extra deck go?
Ja,
Uh-oh. There, okay.
2 Jade, weil Jade ist halt
Broken.
einer der besten Fusion-Monster. Ein Lubellion, weil man den halt recyceln kann, also selber reinmischen kann. Natürlich dann 2 Albion, soweit ich weiß, wenn ich den jetzt finde. Naja.
2 Albions?
Genau, 2 Albion. Weil für das Target von Jade und halt, wenn er aufkommen sollte.
This is not gonna fit 15 extra deck cards. We're gonna run into a problem.
Ein Sanctifier, der ist halt im Grind-Game sehr gut. Zum Beispiel, wenn Dragoon im Friedhof liegt, kann er den reviven oder Jade. Oder halt einfach generell für Albach so. Fand heute auch sehr gut. Also,
Why is Josh? I'm not being mean. I think it's very cool. I think it's very wholesome to see such a young player give out his first interpretation of a deck profile. I think it's awesome.
Natürlich wie immer Dragoon, das ist halt einfach
Dragoon.
Fast ein Opfer, also Duel für Cartesia, kann man sehr gut weiter extenden. Chimera darf
Did you get a YCS top when you were 14? When I was 14, think about it that way. If I was 14, when I was 14, we didn't even have YCSs yet. That's how freaking boomer I am in this game. When I was 14, we didn't have YCSs yet. That was not a thing.
Patchwork bricht einfach sehr, sehr leichte Bots. Markus Aprilia für den Monster Negate. Dann auch noch als Jade-Targets so gesehen. Ringrum und Sprint. Sprint ist halt sehr gut wegen.
I topped my first YCS when I was 16 in 2012.
Kannst halt mit Albers irgendeine Karte fusen, die beschworen wurde, Effektanzahl ist. Und Ringrum wegen dem Revive von Albers. Dann habe ich Alberlinasus ausprobiert gegen D-Link, weil D-Link ist auch sehr oft vertreten. Für den Burn, Mashmate.
Wenn es länger dauert, ja.
Als Super Poly-Target halt Garura. Garura ist auch immer, finde ich eigentlich ganz gut. Side-Deck auch?
Ja, kann Side-Deck auch zeigen, wenn du magst.
I mean, it's a surprisingly straightforward and decent branded Despia list. It's just I'm happy that it worked because I think it's just very wholesome, but I'm not sure how exactly this list is like good enough. I don't really see how it like, because there's no gimmick puppet. There's just not that much going on, right?
Also, ich habe mich entschieden, ich spiele Duel, weil manche Decks suchen dann, also gehen dann doch sehr oft ans Deck. Den Duster für schwierige Background-Matchups.
Ja, ich mache dir gerade Platz. Sorry.
Und genauso auch 2 Cosmics. Ja. Das ist halt für Floodgates so. Einmal den Herold, weil der Noir outen kann und den Caesar bei Unchained auch.
Okay.
Die Ash für Mirror Match oder Unchained womöglich. Ja. Und wahrscheinlich spielt das jetzt nicht jeder, aber Shifter, weil Shifter ist einfach sehr gut gegen Tier. Gegen Unchained war es heute echt auch ganz okay, obwohl es eigentlich nicht so oft vorkommt. Gegen D-Link ist es gut. Ja, ist einfach generell finde ich sehr gut und ja, kann man halt auch Albions dafür auch sein. So, ja, das wäre mein Deck.
I mean, yeah, the side deck is pretty okay. I'm assuming Herald of the Abyss is because we don't have thrusts, which is completely reasonable. When I was 14, I didn't have thrusts or the money to get thrusts. But yeah, no, this is pretty cool.
Super. Möchtest du noch jemand grüßen?
Den Herr Werner, Nikas Gabelstapler und Robbie und Bobby. Und alle anderen aus Karlsruhe.
Alright, shoutouts to Robbie and Bobby. Let's go. No, that was cool. That's impressive, dude. It's just impressive. No matter what you think of the deck list or anything else, piloting any deck list, even like piloting any deck list to top 64 of a YCS as a 14-year-old is no, that's crazy. That is actually genuinely insane, I think. That is an insane achievement. And it probably means there's very good things to come from this player. Very, very much looking forward to that. Speaking of another very young duelist, very up-and-coming duelist, new to the scene that has been doing pretty well at this YCS. Let's look at what Lithium did this weekend, because, dude, I went to look at the thing I had to see on Twitter when I was scrolling through Twitter between rounds at some point. Give me a second. Hold up. I'm going to show you what I saw, and I could not believe what I saw. Hold up. Where is it? Where is it? Here, I found it. Look at this. I just scrolled through my phone in between rounds trying to relax, and I see this image in 2023. How the hell did you set up Domain, Ether, Vanity's Fiend, Majesty's Fiend, Solemn Judgment, March of the Monarchs with another Solemn Judgment in hand? How did you do that? And who did you do that to? Holy shit, what the hell is that board? This is one of those freaking Zodiac break my board kind of situations. Like, god damn, dude. This the type of photos that people will post on Zodiac Duelist, and they'll be like, Zoo, break my board, but no sphere mode allowed. And then people in the comments have some fun figuring out which way you freaking break that board. That's the type of board that is, dude. That's insane. How did you do that to a human being? What the hell? That is foul. Anyways, I was very happy to see Lithium make day 2. There was nothing more that I was hoping for than Lithium actually making it to top 64 at the YCS. I think it would have been so cool, but unfortunately ended up losing. I think it was round 10 to end up 7-3. But you know, let's hear it from the man himself.
Yo, what's up, guys? Today we...
Oh, that was a mix-up. I heard the words, but they didn't come out of the mouth that I was expecting them to come out of. That was crazy.
We have Lithium right here with Monarch. How did you do?
I was close. I ended up day 1 7-2, so 7 wins, 2 loss. And yeah, day 2, first round, Dragon Link. I was leading game 1, but lost game 2 and game 3, so X3 7-3 drop. Eventually I thought that maybe I should play, you know, X3 might still have a chance to top, but you know, in hindsight...
There was one X3 that made it to top cut, by the way. There was apparently an insane amount of draws in the last round of Swiss, and as a result of that, there was only one singular person with X3 that topped. 36 X2-1s. Is a crazy amount of people, is what I will say.
Afterwards, we saw that I think only one player with X3 topped from like a whole sheet of X3 players. So it is what it is.
Awesome. Still very, very good result for Monarch of all decks. We saw you on stream win as well, so let's see what kind of spice you have been cooking.
It's just regular old school domain, nothing too spectacular. Like
no, what does this mean? What does this mean? Don't tell me this is regular domain Monarch. That's not you can't say that. Does not. Don't just say that.
From the people,
what the hell
like,
is that? What is standard domain Monarch?
Since, I think round 5, going 5-0, has been massively got like a massive boost. So that's awesome. Yeah, again, I don't want to drag this too long. I don't think it's too many differences. Are there too many differences compared to the one that I showed you a couple of YCSs ago?
Oh, what year is it, dude? What year is it? This is from 7 years ago is when this deck was like topping tournaments.
Is in London, maybe?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, I see some fun coming up.
Plays around. It plays around. This,
I see some fun coming up.
Does not force your opponent for talents, and you need her for potential tribute summon during their turn to make domain live. Domain is your win condition. Yeah, because this, you know, this clears field, so this is important. Then I guess the game winners. These are all unstable.
No.
I see.
No.
Like back in the day, people played, you know, these this one at 1 because it was searchable off of return. Makes sense. This one maybe 1 or 2, but I mean these are winners, game winners against pretty much every deck. So you want to see them every time, always. So both.
No.
Yes. And Book of Eclipse is not an out, right? By itself?
That's correct. And that's a lot of people try to do that or ask, hey, am I allowed to do this? Like, imagine if you have like domain, they doesn't matter, want to book your fiend or.
Oh yeah, it's still tribute summoned.
This monster still is considered as a tribute monster.
Yeah,
so it came up against Pearly playing all weak attack monsters.
One bad day. See, that's the thing. Lithium does not have one bad day. Lithium has the bad day every day. And then the thing that we should all be scared of is when Lithium does not have a bad day, right? And it was close this weekend. It was close this last weekend because Lithium has been having bad days every day with Monarchs. But the one day that he's going to have a good day is going to be a bad day for everyone else. So
what is it?
This is not an instance of one bad day.
Even though, you know, Fiend is just a weak monster, but they cannot use your extra deck because again, it still remembers, I guess, it's a tribute monster.
Yes.
It came up multiple times. So that's it for tributes. What is it? 11, I think. I think that's a perfect ratio. I was running Kuras back in the day because of Ether, but you don't need to run Kuras anymore. MVPs. Again, next to obviously the Fiends. These are your important stars.
If you go freaking Fenrir and then tribute it for Vanity's Fiend.
For, you know, draw, and it's a tribute fodder. Same for Fenrir, plus Fenrir breaks boards. Plus, worst case scenario, it can be a tribute monster, but it's a super oppressive card, both first and second. So yeah, Fenrir. I always want to open with it.
Cyber Dragon on steroids.
Pretty much. Necessary Evil. I don't like these but I think you still need to run those, especially going first.
Oh, 1-for-1.
You might not be able to, or you might not draw these and not be able to go for like a tribute summon. You need these, but the problem with these is you play into Imperm or Ash, so if you have like any other option to not use these first or force out like an Ash first, or maybe this is your last resort, you have to go for it. And you know, looking at Idea and 1-for-1, just try to do other plays first to force out like a hand trap. And if there's no other option, go for
Lithium.
Go for it.
Lithium. What other play do I make to force out a hand trap? What like are there? I need more instructions than that.
Idea or 1-for-1. And this for game number 3. Again, if going first, you need that 1 tribute for Fiends. I don't like these because they're so weak to hand traps. But you
at this point, we're just haters. We're just hating.
But most people don't know maybe where to
on Idea and Eidos.
I mean, hand trap on Pantheism or Tenacity or Ash. Ash is strong, really strong. Same for Droll. I've been Ashed multiple times, Drolled multiple times. Most of the time it worked out, the record. But yeah, again, like this worked out fine. Then as for the rest, like the spells themselves, the game winner being Domain, definitely a 3-off. You always want.
How does this deck go second?
Over the extra deck version, by the way.
How do I clear a single card off of my opponent's board?
Might win the game on its own. Like especially like the decks now, all the decks are super fair, and that gives this deck a lot of chances to
Stormfort Erebus
and even go second. I think I only won 3 dice rolls.
Stormfort Erebus me one more time, Margaret.
Second and still able to win game 1. Yeah, Pantheism, you know Pantheism, triple Stormfort.
Oh, the gold.
Insane, beat
nice.
Sports. Oh, something important.
Love that.
Against Pearly, you can Stormfort Noir, because again, Noir says very similar to Misk.
I think my deck from YCS Dortmund, if I play against Lithium and I make a Noir, if he just Stormforth and then tributes it for freaking Majesty's Fiend or Vanity's Fiend, I think the game ends. I think the game ends. I have no out to that shit. I lose. You got it. There's no way I beat it. I just can't. I can't beat it. I'm dead. No.
Like you cannot, or what is it? This card is unaffected by activated. Yeah. Yes. And that doesn't count for Stormfort, so you can just Stormfort their board away.
Yes.
And
it's like the continuous from Flu or something like that.
Yeah, I think so. I think so. The thing I remember against Flu as well, he went first because I again lost the dice roll, and he was like, "Oh, sleepy." He ended on Noir and draw 6 eventually.
What's up, Sleepy Joe?
Like, I don't know, +6 or +7 over me. But I simply went Stormfort and Vanity's Fiend. And I think with Domain eventually. And like after a couple of turns, he scooped. He was like full back row, 7 cards.
No, that could have been me.
Do anything because of this.
That could have been me.
Ignorant combo. And
what's up,
like
Sleepy Joe? Stormfort Vanities.
You know, like Stormfort breaks
and Material Noir.
in this format. The Searcher, only 2. That's fine because this actually came up a lot of times. I won all the Destroy deck. Destroy, pop your stuff. Unchained, of course.
Oh my god. He beat them without even knowing what their deck was called.
This is important because of their pop threat, right? To protect your tributes. Imperm.
The Destroy deck.
For Imperm. Instant staple at 1 in the deck. This overperformed. Insane card. Steal their Fenrir. Steal their Beatstick. Tribute for you know, Fiends. Like, wow. On Master Duel, it's a 2 or 3, I think. Ooh, imagine. And last, this one I bumped to 2 because I saw people were main decking DD
I love this so much.
over the Bestial, so that's why 2 of these. So 40 cards, that's it. At least for the main deck. Would I change anything for the main deck? I don't think so. Not for this event.
Extra deck next.
Extra deck. Overperformed a little bit, but seeing that, I think I played all my matchups were different. Rescue Ace, Pearly, 2 times like the Destroy deck, Unchained, 3 times Chimera, like so many different decks. Even Fluendaries, which I lost game 1.
The Destroy deck is crazy, dude.
He had no outs for this.
The Destroy deck is crazy.
That was my lucky card. So I'm happy. I'm happy with the deck.
Awesome. And then
unlucky. Yeah, side deck quickly. The Pistials, Magnum 2-1, just in case. Tearlament, maybe other dark-oriented decks. Sometimes they go in, yeah. Standard, if going second, Unchained or other combo deck.
Watch his feature match. We can watch the feature match. I genuinely want to know what happened.
My opponent was playing FTK, super heavy samurai shenanigans, and I went second.
Oh, shenanigans.
I was like, oh,
not
man,
shenanigans.
Because I don't play hand traps, you don't need hand traps. But I instantly lost that one to 0-2. So. But yeah, Nibiru only hand trap. Always side deck this in going seconds, evenly matched. Always side deck this in going first. And just in case for Labyrinth, you can surge this one off of Aether. Where is she?
Oh my
when
god,
she's
the technology!
Your opponent's turn, you can tribute summon her, and then special summon this from the deck so your opponent cannot set cards. And this will get bounced back. So that's actually really nice.
Awesome.
Maybe for side deck cards.
Extra deck.
What cards I side deck out a lot.
Extra deck next.
Always side decked out going second.
I'm so excited for the extra deck.
To run into Imperm, run into other stuff. And maybe this one, if going second, because this kind of conflicts with Stormfort. Because again, if you want to special summon him to the field, you special summon from the extra deck, so you cannot Stormfort that turn. So that kind of conflicts with Stormfort.
So that's 6 cards you side out, and then
for depends like triple evenly, triple nip, or
no. I actually do need to see that feature match. Give me a second. I'm looking it up. It was, mistakes were made, but that's okay. Humans make mistakes. That's all right. It was a wholesome feature match, and it happens. It happens. But yeah, no, that was fun. God damn. All right, what else is there to talk about from YCS Dortmund? What else do we talk about from YCS Dortmund other than the fact that we probably most definitely need to make a freaking video on how to beat the Rika deck in Europe, because apparently this is just something they can't do. Apparently that is just something that people are not capable of doing. Top 16 first after Swiss branded Chimera. Okay, well, I'm down to look at a branded Chimera, and then we'll probably move on.
Okay, Davide, you ended up top 16, right?
Yep.
But first after Swiss, I lost against you round 9.
Yeah.
Quite quickly.
Yeah.
So is there anything you want to say before we go to the deck?
Nothing in particular. The deck performed pretty well. I think we had one of the best deck lists in the room for this deck specifically. And it was decently positioned in the meta. The deck has pretty good matchup into Unchained, and we expected a lot. Actually, I ended up playing only with 2 Unchained, which were one in Swiss and one in the guy Lorenzo Muselli. And I lost. So eventually we realized that, no, I'm joking. The matchup is pretty good. I played against a lot of tier elements. I played 5 tier elements in Swiss. And a lot of meta stuff, but in one of the
Right. Frogosaurus, thank you so much for the 12 months, and also everyone else who's been subbing while we were watching the videos. Appreciate the support, everyone. Thank you.
Nothing else. Okay. We played 47 card because we like engine. For the Chimera engine, we played obviously the standard, 3 mirror, 3 Godel, 3 Gazelle, and double Baphomet. We reasoned about playing 48 with 3 Baphomet, but the consistency boost was not enough to justify this. Gazelle is a mandatory trade-off in my opinion, and the other 6 cards are 1 card starters. Right. Of course, the Chimera Fusion. I don't know why people still debate about playing 3. This card is not needed in 3 of. The deck has a lot of other stuff to play around the end traps, and
I kind of get it. I kind of understand what they're saying. Like, the card is not that good to draw. But at the same time, sometimes when I got hand trapped on my stuff, I really wish I hard drew it. But I can get behind it.
So 3 is only improve the probability to break. Right. The branded engine, 2 Albats, 3 branded fusion, the best card in the game. 2 deployment, 1 Cartesian. No one plays this card, I don't really know the reason why. This card synergizes so well with the engine, lets you play through board and through end trap so easily. This card also justifies the second Albats, which comes up a lot. And this happens because you have to play 2 of this one, because the other alternative, because we also play the where is she? Dov'è la roccia? We missed 1 card. Is X Seal. We can find X Seal. Oh, there he is. Which is used to make Dragoon. The alternative is to play Bersago, which is the Finn version, to shuffle back Albats, but
it forces you to play like perfectly for the whole tournament, and so it's not worth. This card also let you save one card.
It also has the secret effect.
Yeah, it also has a secret effect, which I actually come up once.
Okay.
Askir, thank you for the first time Prime. Appreciate
the
that.
other cards of the engine branded, I wanted to like.
So that's why it's like 47 cards, because we just play all the engines, right? We just add the deployment, the opening, all that stuff into the deck. I guess it's fair enough.
And mirror together, you can like start with normal summon Albert, take Branded Fusion going into Lubellion.
Wait, there's patchwork too?
Sending also
I kind of like that. I like patchwork.
This Berfomet Channeling 2 targeting, so you can play with both engine even if they are 2 normal summons. So the one of is not.
This play is illegal, by the way. What did he say? Hold up.
Specifically, if you draw Aluber and Mirror together, you can like start with normal summon Aluber, take Branded Fusion going into Lubellion. Lubellion Channeling 1 discard, sending also Berfomet. Lubellion Channeling 1 discarding this, Berfomet Channeling 2 targeting, so you can play with both engine even if they are 2 normal summons.
Yeah, that is not. Is that legal? Only if there's already a target, right? Because I think it's a very weird ruling. It's people in chat are saying it's the same as Hugin and Fountain, but I'm pretty sure if you don't, let's say there's you have no runic spells in the graveyard, and for some, like, you activate a runic spell, summon Hugin. Your opponent chains like something that banishes your runic spell. So you don't have a runic spell in the graveyard right now. I don't think you can go Chainlink 1 Hugin, Chainlink 2 Fountain. Right? So this play is only legal, I think, if you have an illusion monster in the graveyard already. Because anything you trigger in a chain, I believe, needs to already be legal to be activated in the beginning of the chain. You cannot make a trigger legal by putting a target into the graveyard while you're activating other triggers, right? Everything needs to be legal at the start before you activate things. Everything needs to be a legal activation, right? Because basically, like, all of the triggers, you are just arranging their order, right? You're just arranging their order and selecting targets for them, but you are not changing which ones become legal during that time window, right? That does not work. No, it's not. Chainlink 1 Lubellion, it's not about the chainlinks. It's not a legal play. It's not legal. When you are arranging your chainlinks, if at that point in time you don't have an illusion in the graveyard, you cannot activate Berfomet during that chain. It's not legal. You cannot do that. You can only do it if you already have the snake in the graveyard, for example. Right? If you have the snake plus Aluber, it works. You can go pitch the snake, search the thing, do the play, right? Then it works. Then you can go Chainlink 1 Lubellion, pitch the Mirror Sword Knight, Chainlink 2 Berfomet to revive the Mirror Sword Knight. 100% legal in that case. But if you do not have a target at the beginning of you forming the Chainlinks, if you do not have an illusion monster in the graveyard, you cannot trigger the Berfomet, even if you put an illusion monster into the graveyard during the other triggers.
So the one of is.
I don't think, to be clear, I do not think this is cheating, and I do not think this was intentional. Because let's be real, if they knew this was illegal, they probably would not sit here in a deck profile, you know, telling that that's a way you can do it, right? That's not something that I think. I don't think this was intentional at all. And it is a very confusing ruling. Just looking at chat right now, you can tell 50% of people have no idea what they're talking about. Literally, right? Literally 50% of the Yu-Gi-Oh community right now in chat does not know what they're talking about. It's a complicated ruling. It's hard to wrap your head around. I don't think this was ever done intentionally. You know, I know this is not gonna work, but I'm gonna do it anyways because it, like, you know, it looks legal. But I don't think it was anything like that. I think it was just them thinking it would work, but it actually doesn't work. Simple as that. Once again, a very human mistake to make. Not cheating at all. Okay, so stop freaking pitchforking at them for just thinking a play was legal, but it wasn't legal. Like, it's just, it's a very human thing to, you know, like, it's literally not a big deal.
And opening is way too good.
Right.
Way too good. It was a carry for me. All the ends with opening are way too good. Other engine, 1 polymerization, 2 imp, 2 patchwork. I don't think you need more than that. 3 patchwork may be clunky from time to time, and imp is best card, but it makes you break actually. 1 poly is enough, because every time you go poly, you go reliever, and reliever
you can add it back. That's fine.
So you never need 2 of this card. It's not even a matter of playing perfectly, because it's just what it is. I mean, it's always the same play.
I mean, I can imagine going second. Sometimes you could poly into a Guardian Chimera, but you could just Guardian Chimera with the Chimera Fusion.
Which were 16 in this deck's list on the 47 card. We played the 2 best entropy on the format, which are Imperm and Dash. We were playing Nib because he's a body, but Nib is hit or miss against everything. It's not worth playing. And other good cards. Super Poly, which is good for no rational reason, but is always crazy. It's pretty good to play through the Unchained board because they cannot interact with Kotal and Gazelle, and you can just go normal Gazelle, take a Chimera Fusion, goes Poly, fuse a Fiend of them, and go into the small Chimera.
It's more good using like your own cards. It's never used to use 2 monsters the opponent controls, but you use with your own cards.
Okay, yeah. It also comes up that if the opponents have Baby Noir and you are opening against Poly, you kill them. Right. Literally on the spot. Eclipse, this card was nuts for me. Not only in the purely matchup.
I liked Eclipse too. I played Eclipse too, I liked it.
It's come up a lot to dodge stuff. Even trading 1-for-1 in a deck that every time you're...
Yo, the Batman, thank you for gifting us up to Distant Coder. Appreciate you. Thank you.
An effect goes +2 is good. 1 talents, this was the only card that I will change in the main deck. We put 1 talents because technically we wanted 4 cards that would have been like flex spot and good drawing first if you get entrapped. But talents was really mid. Every time I draw, I don't even think I resolved once the whole tournament actually. Okay. And the best card in the game. Basically, the reason why you can play Chimera on a really high level. This card is the best floodgate of the format. It's insane against Unchained, even going second, and crazy against Purely, because the only out that they have is Azalea. And if you have anything that hits Azalea, you can lose, and yeah, it's way too good. And it's also really good going second. The reasoning, obviously, Vince is the guy that told the put this in the main deck, but clearly if decks which have more engine, like Vanquish, so for instance, can win off this card playing in the main deck, why a deck like this should not play in? Okay.
I mean, it's true. The card is insane. Like the branded Chimera deck is pretty much a lot of 1-card combos. So it can definitely afford to have 1 like dead card with no immediate impact, you know. Tikaboo is one of the most busted floodgates in the format right now. Probably the most busted floodgate. You know, you think of most of the top decks, Unchained, Pearly, they all lose to it. Then you get a lot of other random, like, people that just play other stuff like plants, dragons, everything, flu. They all die to that shit. It's crazy. Tier, it's not that good against Tier. That is true. I don't think it's that great against Tier. Sometimes it could probably be annoying against Tier. Like, sometimes it's going to be good, but it's not. I don't think it's that good against Tier.
47 cards, right?
Like, even Tier can play it, right? So that says something about it.
Extra deck, 2 small Chimera and 1 big Chimera. I saw deck list of people that don't play this card. I literally OTK
this card's
7,
good.
8, 9 times with this card. It's great. In top 32, my dragon opponent went like Borel and Savage. I forced them both. Branded Fusion, sending X-Seal 7. OTK. Beating on Savage. This card is great. Dragoon, which is the best card is cross out basically. Every time you open branded fusion stuff plus Chimera, you go crazy combo stuff. Lithium knows this pretty well.
Yeah.
Reliever, my favorite card of the deck by far. Way too good. You make this by Cartesia locked and polymerization. Basically, if you have deployment or patchwork, you go into this and you go +1 plus in interruption. If you use also Albion, you get free follow-up. So insane card. One Chimera, Guardian Chimera. Obviously, the second come out, but Reliever does the same thing. So there was no space to play.
I don't know if it does the same thing, but
you have to play the targets. Super poly targets, so Maddi, Garura, and Stapelia. Stapelia is not only a super poly target; it's more of like your playthrough shifter is like.
Who allowed these sleeves? It's a little bit weird that you can't quite see the defense points here, right? It's a little bit. It can be a little bit confusing. I think it's probably just a matter of they didn't have a deck check, right? And so no one told them.
Which is a lot with a lot of non-engineers.
They look cool, but the fact that you can't quite see the defense points is a little weird.
Nothing to say, they were all good. With Garura specifically, there is, since we play Yugioh for Cartesia, there is one specific combo which goes deployment plus imp, or Cartesia plus imp, which makes you do reliever into drawing 2, because you go Cartesian imp into Yugioh, Yugioh send Garura, draw 1, imp takes patchwork, patchwork does poly, go reliever, draw another card, and you have an interruption. Yeah. So you have draw 2 plus interruption. This is really good if you want to excavate into TCB or...
They had a feature match? Oh, that's crazy.
Drawing 2 is insane. Last cards, the best boys. 1 Mirror Jade, 2 Albion, 1 Lubellion, 1 Ringbrom. If you play Versago, you can play like this, and you can have the spot for the second card Chimera, but the light rock is better.
Okay.
Side yes.
Good luck finding it. Wait, is that feature match gone because of the sleeves? No shot. Which round was it? They're called, what are they called? Davide. Round 12. All right. I see how it is. So YCS Dortmund was an 11 round YCS. I see.
RPs because we wanted to fix the lab
matchup,
and we were
Invoked for, thank you for the 11 months. Appreciate that. Thank you.
Expecting anti-spell to be the most common floodgate, so we cut cross out for this. It performed for me. It was good. We also side in going first against Unchained, so it's good. It was nice. RPs in 47 also only.
They didn't realize it's Pokemon, so they stopped. They had to stop the stream. Really, did the stream stop during the feature match?
Clutch against Lithium, but
47 cards.
47
right?
cards. Let's not talk about that. More entraps for like my medium matchup and stuff. 3 draws and 4 bestials. Draws was good for me. I was expecting this to perform way worse, but it was nice. Bestial was crazy. We're not crazy unless you play against a good Unchained player. But I decided they helped a lot. I drew Magnamut a lot in top 32 also, so it's nice.
The guy in the video, it was for Pokemon sleeves. Well, I guess.
Always play one Magnamut.
You know.
Even though they disagree.
No, it's fine, but as you said, against Unchained, people like Druzum a lot. But if you play against a competent player, they always scissor you before putting a Dark in the grave. So
I mean, it's kind of understandable, right? Not wanting to promote like direct competitors in your stream, you know, which is like, you know, the Pokemon trading card game is, I suppose, a direct competitor to the Yu-Gi-Oh trading card game. So it's like, you know, it's whatever, right?
That's
I get
a
it.
weird card, but in this deck it's good in general. Because it's a body. Because it's a body for a Chimera.
I was coming clutch in top 16 for this specific reason. Definitely the worst card on my side was Retaliating Sea.
Against Mercury.
I don't know.
I think Retaliating Sea is not a bad card. I'm just so nervous to play any of those hand traps that put a body on your board because of freaking Thrust.
I want to justify this. and Masquerade. If you have seen the feature match, you have seen that Masquerade is not just a matter of time. Against certain deck, it's just oppressive. Because I put it on field game 3 with 15 minutes on the clock against the elements, and it was like, what should I do? I have to trigger like 20 effects to play, and my board was like Dragoon, Chimera, Masquerade, and I won just because they have to go battle phase, and then it was 5 minutes on the clock, so I can't lose anymore. And that's all.
Any last words? Any shoutouts?
Yeah, all the guys of locals in Milan, Balbo. So Federico Molin, Benz.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was a good list for the branded Chimera deck. I think I like the Patrick engine. That's what I like about it. All right, I think that's about to be a wrap from YCS Dortmund. I think we've gone over enough different decks. I think we've talked about it enough. It was a very interesting event. We've talked about my deck. We've talked about what went wrong in my tournament run. We've looked at most of the interesting decks from top 64. The one thing that I think is a little bit sad about this entire situation, or like sad, I guess sad is the wrong word, but one thing we should keep in mind is the fact that this format, unfortunately, or like, depending on if you like it or not, but this format is not going to last for that much longer. This exact format is going to change quite soon, actually, because we have Age of Overlord coming up relatively soon, which is going to be also part of the focus in the upcoming weeks. We're going to talk a lot about, or the upcoming days, rather. We're going to talk a lot about what's going to happen with Age of Overlord. We are going to watch the trailer. I already have it lined up because that was released yesterday. And someone in chat, please tell me if I'm wrong, but I think we're going to have the first video today of like the announcements. Is that a thing this week? I think this week, 5 p.m. should be the reveals, right? So we're going to be here, and in 45 minutes, we're going to get a first look at, I don't know what exactly is today. Some archetype is going to be revealed today, and we're going to see some rarities. We're going to see some rarities from Age of Overlord. Of course, everyone is still holding their breath for the rarity of freaking SP Little Knight. That's the big thing. That's the big deal. The elephant in the room out of Age of Overlord is which rarity is SP Little Knight, you know? Do you have to sell your car to afford it, or do you have to sell your house, basically, is what everyone is asking right now, in terms of SP Little Knight. It's legal for YCS Indianapolis. Yeah, I know. It's legal for YCS Indianapolis. Speaking of YCS Indianapolis, I am like 99% certain that I'm going to be streaming for YCS Indianapolis. We're going to be able to watch YCS Indianapolis together, assuming it has a live stream, which apparently, you know, over in the Americas, depending on where you are, it's not always a guarantee. I'm assuming that YCS Indianapolis is going to have a live stream. So we're going to be here and streaming it and watching it together. Zion, thank you for the 11 months. Are you going to be going to YCS Bologna? I will be going to YCS Bologna. Do we know what the reveals are today? Apparently, Chad has been saying it's Horus, but there is a schedule apparently. Oh yeah, there is. Hold up. We can move over. Up. Influencer reveals schedule. Day 1 Horus, day 2 Snake Eye, day 3 TG, day 4 box opening videos. And the English ones we can get nowhere. Horus is not going to be in English, apparently. There is a French reveal for Horus. There's a Italian reveal for Horus, and there's a Spanish reveal for Horus. But there's no English and no German here listed, at least. But maybe this is just Europe, because I'm seeing like none of the US content creators here in general. Maybe it's just the European ones that are listed here. There's probably still, surely they didn't stop working with like all the American channels, right? Surely there's going to be an English video on like DZEV or MST TV or wherever else it usually is, right? There's probably going to be an English video. Don't worry. Don't worry. That's probably going to be a thing. All right, there is one more thing I need to tell you guys about really quickly, because Sleeve Chief, we need to shill really fast. We need to shill really quick, because the restock of Sleeve Chief was 2 days ago. So a lot of the Sleeve Chief stuff is back in stock, right? A lot of the Sleeve Chief stuff is back in stock. And you guys can go ahead and use, what is it, Josh 5 for 5% off of everything. Sleeve Chief has been, people have been wondering where Sleeve Chief was the last couple of weeks, but I think they've just been preparing for a major restock. So you guys can go ahead and type !sleeves, go to Sleeve Chief. They have, main deck sleeves, extra deck sleeves, border sleeves, deck boxes, playmats, and dice. And if you see anything you like, you can get it. To support the channel, you can use Josh 5 for 5% off. And that's that. They also gave me a Joshua Schmidt exclusive Sleeve Chief playmat at YCS Dortmund, so that was kind of cool. So shout outs to Sleeve Chief. And yeah, you guys can go check out the website and see if you like anything from the most recent restock that happened. All right, let me sort all the stuff in my background. Let me turn the music back on. Let me turn the music back on. Can we see it? Let me see if I find it. Yeah, okay. You can see it. I have it. Hold up. Hold up. Make some room. Does it have circular on it? It does not have circular on it. It has... So it has the one side of it has Snipe Hunter on it in honor of Team Snipe Hunters, and the other side has Ronin Totem. That's pretty cool. That's a pretty wholesome gift that they had for winning worlds. It's also a 1 of 1. It's literally a 1 of 1. Isn't that crazy? I think it's pretty cool. It was pretty sick of them. Look at this Ronin Totem, dude. That's great. Yeah, that was cool. When are you selling it? I'm not gonna sell it. I'm gonna keep it. I like it. Are you going to use it too? Well, I usually play on my team's playmat for anything, so I'm probably not going to use it at like tournaments, but I still think it's cool to have. I have way too many playmats anyways. I just realized that because there's one other thing I picked up at the YCS finally. Where is it? Hold up. So I got this thing finally. Which I've waited for so long, dude. I've waited for so long. And I finally have it. That's cool. I love that. I'll roll it back later. And then another thing that Quantal brought me from I don't know which YCS it was. Was it Vancouver, Quantal, where you got it for me? I don't remember. I think it was Vancouver, but this is the most recent Time Wizard thingy, Matt, which is awesome. Awesome. Thank you, Quantal, for bringing me that. So there's one issue with this playmat that I have. And it's something that I just realized, and it's just weird. Like, why is it? Can you guys spot what's weird about this playmat? Okay, why did you say feet? Why did you say feet? No, it's not about the feet, Herman. It's not about the feet. It's about the fact that it's the new Time Wizard playmat. So why the hell does it have extra monster zones? Why does it have these two extra monsters? Why does it have extra monster zones? The Light and Darkness Dragon Met doesn't have it. Why does this one have it? I don't like that. I don't like that. Wait, Lud has it? Hold up, hold up. Oh, wait. I didn't realize it had that. Oh, hold up. You guys are going to make me really unhappy about my purchase. Wait. Oh, it does. But you can barely see it. It does have it, actually. Hold up. Here. It has like the idea of a freaking extra monster zone. The illusion, but you can't tell, right? You can't tell at all. That's true. It does have it. But that one is way less obvious, right? Way less obvious. So yeah. So the lad playmat I got like months ago. I got it months ago, but it was finally brought to me at this YCS. But yeah, I'm pretty happy to have it. The only thing that I realized is that it's kind of pointless to own more than one playmat because I'm like, you know. Anyways, I just liked them so much, so I wanted to have them, but I'm not really using them very much. I just use them like whenever I play Time Wizard, I just pick one of them and play on it. So that's cool, I guess. All right, what else was there to talk about? What else is there to talk about specifically for YCS Dortmund or anything? Because like I do want to stay until 5, but I'm not sure if I want to get into like the others. I have some other stuff lined up for this week, but I don't think we can get it done in like 30 minutes, 25 minutes. Let me see. What news were there? What happened during the weekend? Because I was busy with the YCS. What is there that's exciting to talk about? Master Duel Banlist. Master Duel Banlist we could do. Where is it? Master Duel Banlist. OTS reveals? What OTS reveals? I don't know of any OTS reveals. Is that an official thing, or is that gonna, you know, is it a reveal or is it a leak? Basically, is that what I'm trying to find out. Because if it's a reveal, I'm down for it. If it's a leak, I'm not down for it. It is official. Okay, let me see. You say Yu-Gi-Oh Twitter? Hold up. Yu-Gi-Oh Twitter. Can you link me it? Can anyone link me it? Because the Yu-Gi-Oh Twitter, at least the EU one, is full of YCS coverage. So I'd have to go scroll through all that. There we go. Okay, let's see. It is a video. Hold up. Kind of loud. Monka Christ. Tournament pack 23. What's in there? Ulti enemy, ulti Kurikara. And what is this? Just that this is not ulti, right? Ulti. Why the hell did they feel the need to announce freaking TG1EM1? Why is TG1EM1 the thing that advertises the OTS pack? I mean, a Crow reprint, I guess, this is Crow reprint number 10,000 this year. So whatever. Preventer is an odd choice as well. I guess it's an upgrade, right? Because it was a common. Actually, no, that's a downgrade. Going from common to super rare. Don't do that, guys. Don't do that. That's a downgrade. So, yeah. Oh, that was it. Okay. Well, okay. That was not that much. That was not that much. So what is it? Freaking ulti enemy. Ulti enemy is based as hell. I love that they're doing ulti enemy controller. That is one of my favorite. That has to be one of my favorite OTS ultis of all time that they've done. It's not like out of sheer playability. There's been better ones, right? Like ulti droplet, ulti nib, ulti imperm. Those are better cards than enemy controller overall. But I still love that enemy controller gets the ultimate rare treatment. One of the cards that truly deserves it. I'm looking forward to those. Kurikara is probably gonna look very sick in ultimate rare. I can imagine Kurikara being a very pretty looking ultimate rare. But the thing is, that's not really what we need right now. We don't really need an upgrade to Kurikara. We need a downgrade, is what I'm thinking, right? Because the ultimate rare Kurikara, I don't think it's going to really like help with the problem that Kurikara is really expensive, right? Because how much is Kurikara right now? How much is Kurikara currently? Because I can imagine it going down a little bit because it's not that popular right now in terms of like playing it. Okay, it has gone down a decent amount, hasn't it? I don't think it's been more than 30 for a while, right? It was like 50 plus during Cash Tira format. So I guess it's been getting a little bit better, just a little bit better, but it still is expensive, right? For a card that at this point is over a year old, right? Almost 1.5 years. I would say this is still decently expensive and should probably be reprinted at some point, especially since it was for some reason not included in the megatins. That honestly, for me, that looking back, that should have just been the place for them to put it, right? Because that was Kurikara was still very much sought after because that came out towards the end of Tournament Cash Tira format. It was supposed to be there and they just didn't do it. So what? They could put it into the OTS pack? I don't know. That's weird. That is weird a little bit to me. But okay. We have in other news, I think we have some new cards that we can look at. Give me a second. Let me find them. We have some new cards that we can look at that came out over the weekend, I believe. There's a new Memento card from Phantom Nightmare, but that might be it. Oh no, there's another one. There's another one. Yeah, okay. We have new Memento card and new whatever this is. Whatever the hell this is. Rob Cop TW, thank you for the tier 1 sub. Appreciate the first time subscription. Thank you for the support. Thank you so much. Have you looked at the Master Duel Banlist? So I have not. I was gonna save it for a Master Duel stream, but if we need to kill some time before the reveals at 5 p.m, we might talk about it today just to get it out of the way. Drag things long since dead back to life with Memento Attic Ghost. That was certainly some words. Just in time for the start of the spookiest month of the year. Memento Uramon. Memento Attic Ghost or Wretched Ghost of the Memento. Alright. Level 2 Dark Fiend effect monster, Poggers, sprite support. You can only use the first and second effect of this card's name each once per turn. If this card is normal or special summoned, you can target a memento card in your grave, except Attic Ghost, add it to your hand. Not terrible. If this card is sent to the graveyard by a memento monster effect, you can special summon this card. Not bad. However, it's just, once again, I don't remember exactly what all of the memento cards did, but I remember it kind of being this weird deck that tries to put out this 5,000 attack boss monster and try to win the game with that, but that's not really like that impressive. That was memento, right? I'm remembering the right archetype, right? That was the thing. And they did have a lot of stuff that would send mementos from the deck to the graveyard and so on and so forth, I believe. So this card is at least good for the archetype. So in the archetype, this is, I think, a good card. However, the question is always also not only is this a good card for the archetype, but also does it make the archetype good enough? Because as of now, or as of before Phantom Nightmare, the memento archetype is pretty much a complete gimmick and not good. And I'm not sure if this completely changes that. Because the way I see it, the way I see memento is it would probably need a different sort of game plan rather than just the 5k beat stick. And this does not provide that. But it's not a bad card, of course. Like, just reading it, you know it's a good card, you know? Never skip leg day with Macho Dragon. Okay. Is this another just Pyro support? Because it's a level 8 fire Pyro. What's the deal with the Pyro support this year, chat? What's going on? And especially with like... let me read it first. You can only use the first and second effect once per turn. You can banish up to 3 fires from your grave. This card gains 400 attack for each until the end of... This is a level 8 monster. If a face-up fire monster you control is destroyed by a card effect, while this card is in your grave, you can special summon this card, then draw 1 card. Fire King support? Dude. Fire King? This is not Fire King support, man. This is a level 8 fire monster. And you cannot even use... The first effect is straight up garbage. Literally. This card can boost itself up to 3,000 attack. Poggers. The second effect literally makes it so you have to put this card into the graveyard first. Then you have to trigger it by destroying a fire monster for you to get it back and draw a card. It's way too hard to pull this off. If you could summon it from your hand, sure. Maybe. Right? If I can just summon it from my hand, cool. But how am I getting this shit into the graveyard in a Fire King deck? How is there like... Is there an in-engine way in Fire King to put this into my graveyard? Because then I could see it. Trade-in smile. God damn it, dude. Yaksha, small Kirin can. I mean, yeah, look. I know, I'm aware that with Fire Kings, you can pop it when it's in your hand. However, guess what? Guess what also has synergy with being destroyed while in your hand, chat? In a Fire King deck. Yeah, every single freaking Fire King. You can just destroy a Fire King instead and immediately get its effect, instead of having to destroy this in your hand and then still need to trigger it later, like to bring it to even get any value off of it, right? There's like no shot. There's no shot you're going to use this just because you can pop it in your hand with Fire Kings. You already have enough stuff you can pop with Fire Kings. This card at some point of its life will be a good card either way. It draws 1. You'd be surprised how many cards draw a card and are not good cards. Drawing cards is good, but slapping draw 1 card on a card somewhere does not automatically make it playable at some point. There's a lot of cards that draw cards and that are just straight up bad. And I think this is one of those. I think this is one of those cards that is just not good. I think it's just a pack filler. I don't think we have to talk about it for that much longer. Like the fact that you have to go through the motions to put it into the graveyard and then destroy a fire monster you control by card effect just to get a body and draw a card. Dude, just activate freaking Danger Bigfoot if you want to draw a card and get a level 8 body. That's way easier. And then the payoff is I can get it to 3000 attack if I want to banish 3 fire monsters. So it's very pathetic. It's a very pathetic card, I think. Yeah, okay. So that was disappointing. Phantom Nightmare so far is looking interesting. It's looking worse than Age of Overlord, I would say. But Age of Overlord is pretty good, so, you know. All right. I guess since we have 10 more minutes to fill until we get the Age of Overlord reveals for the Horus cards, we can look at this bad boy. Master Duel Forbidden and Limited List update that will be implemented in exactly 1 week from now. I believe this was posted days ago, like a couple days, so I assume most of you guys have already seen it. I have not, though. I purposely held back on looking at it. I saw that it was released, but I didn't look at the changes. So we can go through it together, and we can see how the Master Duel format is going to shape up starting next week. In terms of what I expect, I'm trying to think of the Master Duel metagame right now. The only deck that I can really think of as like being too powerful maybe is Pearly, because Pearly is pretty much at full power in Master Duel and will receive the Baby Noir at some point. So that's the one deck I can think of. Everything else seems like it's in a fine spot, but let's just go. We have Luster Pendulum from 2 to 3. I like it. Just decluttering the ban list. Card is not good. Gossip Shadow. This should have happened last ban list when they banned Rongo. I don't know why they gave it one ban list to bring it back. That was pretty much, you know, this could have happened last ban list, but it's good. It's a good thing that they realized. It's a good thing that they are like, okay, we can do that, and they did that. All right. Analyzer, I had no idea this card was semi-limited. I'm gonna keep it 100 with you guys. I did not know that card was on there. I did not know that card was on there. I didn't know that. I guess this helps Adamancipator, which is a bad thing. We don't want to help Adamancipator. We don't like Adamancipator. And when I say we, I mean we as the Yu-Gi-Oh community, because everyone agrees with me, obviously, that the Adamancipator is cringe to play against and not fun. So I'm using the term we just to, you know, include everybody, right? Everyone is in agreement on that, and everyone shakes hands right now, you know, everyone, we agree on it. So obviously, that's not a good thing. Maybe this means they banned Block Dragon. In that case, I would agree. I would trade. I would trade, right? Because Block Dragon was at 1, right? In Master Duel still. Oh, it's already banned. Okay, Kek W, never mind. Analyzer can come back. That's fine. We can have 3. We can have 3 Analyzer, no problem. No problem. I take back everything I said just now. I thought Block Dragon was at 1. But if it's banned, then sure. Have the Analyzer. Have the Analyzer. Nimble Beaver. Nimble Beaver. Ape Man Paradise. Thank you for the 9 months. Appreciate you so much. I want to be offended by this, but somehow I am not. Because you guys know I'm a fan of Sprite. I am a fan of Sprite, but I can't help but kind of think like this is an okay hit, because it not only weakens like the card itself, like how often you draw the card, it weakens one card in particular, and that is Sprite Sprint. And I think that's okay. I think it's okay to weaken Sprite Sprint. Now Now, I will argue that Sprite, like, is in a weird spot in Master Duel anyways, because it's by far the worst deck into Max C out of most of the decks in Master Duel. It's like terrible into Max C. So I'm not even sure if Sprite was even being played that much. I'm not sure if Sprite was even being played a whole lot. So maybe they didn't even need to do it, but I get it, so it's fine. They want to sell Gishki. They want to sell Gishki. I think you guys are on some weird conspiracy theories sometimes. I don't think the reason to limit Nimble Beaver is to sell Gishki cards. I don't think so. I think it was just a matter of Sprite was a decently popular deck with a decent win rate, and I think they just wanted to hit it at some point. And Nimble Beaver is a very interesting way to do it because it means, like, the thing is, Nimble Beaver itself is a card that you can easily replace, right? Like, a level 2 monster that summons another level 2 monster is nothing special. There's 1,000 more ways to do that, right? There's Diva, there's the Sacred Beast support, there's tons of ways to do that. You don't need Nimble Beaver to do that. The only thing that Beaver does better than all of those other engines, which is why it's so popular, is with the Nimble Angler and the Sprite Sprint. So you're kind of touching on the Sprite Sprint being too powerful, and it is very powerful. Sprite Sprint is super powerful in Master Duel right now. And so now you can still play your level 2 normal summons that do stuff, but you don't get the bonus Sprite Sprint, which was basically free, right? It was just a free extender, basically. As long as you could put 2 bodies onto the board, you can turn them into more bodies, right? And I think it's okay that that's gone. I think that's okay. Havness from 2 to 1. Hitting tier limits even more. Not sure if this one was necessary. I would have rather seen them go even harder on some of the Ishizu cards instead of hitting the tier limit cards even more. But I guess preparing for tier limit Cash Tira, I suppose, you know. But still, then I would still have liked them to just ban Ishizu cards. Because once again, I don't have an issue with Havness. Oh, okay. I thought there was gonna be more. I thought, okay. Well, I mean, hey, that's good. That's good. That's the card I had an issue with. That's one of the cards I had an issue with. Is it more? No, it's not. Okay, that's all. Okay. So Kelbeck goes to 0 and Diablosis goes to 0. I will not discuss with you guys about this. This card needs to be banned in the TCG as well. The same goes for Agido. Those cards are toxic. So in Master Duel, this means both of them are now banned. Both of them are now banned in Master Duel because Agido was already banned previously. I believe both of the Shufflers are still at 1. Which I guess I don't have an issue with that much. I think I'm definitely more okay with the Shufflers than I am with the Millers. 100%. Should the Millers also be banned when the Shufflers are already banned? Maybe no. Maybe it's fine. Maybe it's okay. Maybe it's okay to have the Shufflers. Because, like, really, outside of Ishizu tier, which decks really abuse the Shufflers? It was just like, you know, oh, you discard them in a Runic deck, like Runic Naturia, or you can use them in Labyrinth as discards for furniture. You can use them in Pearly as discards for your quick play spells. I think I'm okay with those interactions. That's probably all right. Diablosis, probably just anticipating a Rysart release. You know, don't want to make Cash Tira to be super, super oppressive at release. This is one of the better ways of doing it, I think, because that was, out of all the issues that Cash Tira created whenever it was meta, the Zone Lock was probably the most toxic one. So I really like that they are getting rid of Diablosis before it becomes a problem. Well, arguably it's already seeing play, but Cash Tira is not strong before a Rise. Like, it's not that strong in Master Duel right now, so that's that. All right, full changes. Small ban list. Nothing for Pearly. Nothing for Pearly is interesting. That is my only gripe with this ban list, I believe. That is my only concern. Is that Pearly is like completely untouched here. But I guess. Maybe it's still too new. Who knows what their exact reasoning is, but I mean, the thing is like, the thing about Master Duel ban list that is super nice is that whenever something is missing on a ban list because we get such frequent updates, I'm not too mad about it. I'm not too mad about it because we get another ban list relatively soon, so it's fine. Whatever. It's okay. The changes that did happen though, I think I'm a fan of all of them except for the halveness limit. I think with a banned Merly and the banned Ishizu Millers, I think it could have been okay to get to leave Tearlaments alone outside of that, but I mean, I guess they wanted to do it. I'm okay with it. I'm also not super sad about it because I like Tear, but I'm not like super attached to it. Like if they want to kill Tear, they can kill Tear. I'm okay. I don't need Tearlament's strongest in my life. You know? All right, it is 4:59 now, which means we get the reveals any second now. We get the influencer reveals any second now, and now it's 5. Now it's 5. So where are my Horus? Where are my Horus reveals? Where are they? Age of Overlord. Where is it? That's not what it is. That is definitely not what it is. Tweet is up. Tweet is up. Where's tweet? Link tweet. Link video. New Horus cards. Oh my god, we're being spoilered in the thumbnail. Doug, what are you doing? Why are you spoiling during the thumbnail already? Good god.
Age of Overlord is just around the corner, and in today's video, I'm going to cover the highly anticipated new Horus cards that are in the set. These level 8 monsters have easy revival effects and abilities that punish the opponent for removing cards on the field. The main spell holding the theme together is King
Ultra Rare Sarcophagus.
So let's take a look at that card first. King Sarcophagus is a continuous...
I mean, honestly, I think there's only one, just right off the bat, I think there's only one card that has the potential to be expensive out of the Horus cards, and that's the one that's the trade-in guy. Right? The one where you discard itself and another card, add Sarcophagus, and draw one card. If that one's a Secret Rare, that one could be expensive because that's like pretty much always the 3 of, right? So if this archetype is popular and that card is a Secret Rare, then that one would probably be a little bit. I don't know how expensive it could be because I mean, looking at the OCG, this engine, quote unquote, is semi-popular. Like I think you know, it's good to have those cards, but you're not going to play them like all the time.
You can send one card from your hand to the graveyard to send one Horus monster from your deck to the graveyard, and that's an effect that you can use up to 4 times per turn. Once per turn, at the start of the damage step, if your Horus monster battles an opponent's monster, you can send that opponent's monster to the graveyard. That's a non-targeting, non-destroying way to remove an opponent's monster. Essentially, as long as you have enough cards to get rid of out of your hand, you can keep using King Sarcophagus over and over again. That's great because you can hopefully set up all 4 Horus monsters in your graveyard on turn 1, as long as you just have a few cards to get rid of. It especially combos well with cards that can replace themselves if you get rid of them, like Volcanic Shell. Volcanic Shell actually can basically fuel your entire King Sarcophagus line, which is pretty cool. The bonus effects for the Horus monsters are great too. The Horus monsters are already pretty annoying to deal with once they hit the board, but by giving them these 2 extra abilities, it makes them even harder to deal with. Let's take a look at the actual Horus monsters.
And it is a secret rare. It is a secret rare. Imseti, Glory of Horus, is a secret rare, judging from the letters here. And this is the one, I'm pretty sure. Hold up. You can send 2 cards from your hand to the graveyard, including this card. Add one. Yeah, this is the one. Yeah.
Imseti, Glory of Horus. This is a level 8.
That's gonna... I'm not sure if it's gonna be a money card. It depends on how many people want to pick up the entire engine. But if it is a popular engine, this is going to be potentially an expensive
Dark
card.
Spellcaster effect monster that says, if you control King Sarcophagus, you can special summon this card from your graveyard. You can only special summon Glory of Horus.
I can definitely see this being a looked after
monsters
card.
have that exact same effect. You can only use each of the following effects.
I don't think it's like a. I don't think it's like an $80 card, but like kind of like a 30-40 thingy. I could see this being.
Deck to your hand, then you can draw one card. If
depending on how popular it is.
Leaves the field
it's not the chase card in the set, but it's definitely
you can
up
send
there.
one card on the field to the graveyard. Glory of Horus is a fantastic monster for the King Sarcophagus theme, and it's probably the most important monster in the archetype. By using this card, you can trade itself and one other card in your hand for the King Sarcophagus and a free draw, which not only sets up your King Sarcophagus line, but also cycles you further into your deck. Then, immediately after using that King Sarcophagus, you can just special summon this card for free from the graveyard, and then while it's on the field, it has that deterrent effect, which can be pretty annoying for the opponent to deal with. The next monster we're looking at is Duamatef.
Another secret, bro. They're really leaning in into those Horus cards being popular. Really,
monster that says if you control King Sarcophagus, you can special summon this card from your graveyard, and you can only special summon one of these per turn that way. Like I said, they all have that effect, and that does make them really good discards for the King Sarcophagus.
So
effect.
we know two secrets.
Gains 1200 attack and defense
already
for each Horus monster you control, and of course that does include itself. If another card or cards you control leaves the field by an opponent's card
this one is not going to be that
zone, you
expensive.
can draw cards equal to the number of monsters with different names in your main monster zone. Already you can start to see why these cards are so good. As long as you have King Sarcophagus on your board, you can summon them for free.
We have no confirmation on the rarity of SP Little Knight. Don't let anyone fool you. There is the only information we have about SP Little Knight is that it comes in quarter century rare, which means it's at least ultra or secret. It can still be a secret rare. It is not confirmed an ultra rare.
Turn, and then if your opponent tries,
it was in their official Konami NA video as a quarter century. The quarter century was in the video. You could see the stamp and the silver border. It was the quarter century that was included in the video, which only means it could either be ultra or secret, but you don't know whether it's an ultra or a secret.
To remove anything on your field, well, they're going to trigger some Horus effects. Next up, we have Hoppy, Guidance of Horus, a level 8 Wind Beast Warrior monster that says, if you control King Sarcophagus, you can special summon this card from your graveyard, but of course, you can only special summon one Happy, Guidance of Horus once per turn this way. If another card you control leaves the field by an opponent's card effect while this card is in your monster zone, you can target two cards that are banished and or in the graveyards, either add both to the hand or shuffle both into the deck. You can use Guidance's effect in a couple different ways. It can be used to disrupt the opponent by shuffling back some cards that maybe they wanted in the graveyard or in their banished pile, but also you can put back your own cards, and if you want to, you can even add them back to your hand, which could help you discard even more things for the King Sarcophagus effect. Finally, we have the Protection of Horus. Let's take a look at what this one...
No, tell me the name. Doug, tell me what it's called.
...does. If you control King...
No, Doug.
Effect. Finally, we have the Protection of Horus. Let's take a look at what this one does.
Okay, he's actually not gonna say it. That's crazy, dude. Quebec Senuef, dude. Oh my god, dude. Can we watch? There's only one thing. I want to know how Pack and DB Grinder call this card.
If you control King Sarcophagus, you can
that's what I need to know. I need to know how Pack and DB Grinder would
turn this way. If another card you control leaves the field by an opponent's card effect while this card is in your monster zone, this turn your opponent's monsters cannot target Horus monsters for attacks. Also,
it's pronounced how it's spelled, to be fair.
Card effects. Keep in mind that in combination with King Sarcophagus, this makes your Horus monsters protected by targeting and non-targeting card effects. Finally, we have Canopic Protector, a continuous trap card that says, once per chain, when your opponent activates a card or effect, you can special summon one Horus monster from your hand or graveyard, but for the rest of this turn, you cannot special summon monsters with the same original name by the effect of Canopic Protector. If this card is sent from the hand or field to the graveyard, you can set this card, but banish it when it leaves the field. This is a pretty good way to
this is
more
probably
Horus
also common or super rare.
And it even sets itself if you discard it with...
So we have... this is all... Okay, so we have an ultra rare Sarcophagus. We have a secret rare Imseti, and we have one other secret rare in the bunch. As far as playing Horus on a budget, it probably could have not gone much worse, because they made the best Horus card a secret rare. They gave it another random secret rare, which is probably not going to be expensive, but just a couple more bucks. And then the sarcophagus is an ultra rare. So, it's really hard to say. It's really hard to say what this means for the price of the cards, because I have a hard time imagining how popular these cards are really going to be, because I like the cards. I think they are good cards, but I don't see a lot of homes for them. I don't see a lot of decks where I would put the cards. The engine is not that consistent overall, because if you don't find, honestly, it's just that to me it seems like you need to either draw sarcophagus, or like you really want to draw this dude. Like this dude you really want to draw, because this is by far the best card in the engine. Everything else is kind of meh. Everything else doesn't really do that much. So it might be an issue of like, remember freaking Revolution Synchron? Anyone remember Revolution Synchron? That card was pretty hyped, and now it's gone down in price significantly. So, you know, DB Grinder pronouncing that card. Oh my god, holy shit. Okay. Wait.
Special tier cash, effect mill 3 mills. Oh yeah, okay, yeah, sure, yeah, real name there, Queb Ishanuf.
Okay, I needed that. That was great. Yeah, exactly, that's what I needed. That is what I needed. Thank you for that. Okay, phenomenal. Irate Nia, thank you for the 12 months. Appreciate that. Thank you. Appreciate you for the full year. Horus tier felt exactly like Revolution tier in testing. I mean, we're gonna wait and see, right? My personal prediction would be that the Horus cards are gonna be very sought after right after release. It's an exciting new engine. There's a lot of potential with it. There's things you can do with it. People are going to want to try them because they look very powerful. They look very very fun to play with. And, you know, just pumping out a lot of level 8 monsters, making, you know, Coach King Giant Trainer, drawing 3 cards, all that kind of stuff. It looks exciting, just like Revolution Synchron. You know, Revolution Synchron is kind of the same thing. Like, in theory, you can make a lot of cool things happen with it. You know, you can activate a field spell, make Ancient Fairy, pop the field spell, grab another field spell, bring it back, make a level 8 synchro. Lots of exciting stuff that can be done with Revolution Synchron. Lots of exciting stuff that can be done with the Horus cards. So I think at release, people are going to want to pick them up to experiment with them. And then whether they're going to go up or down is going to depend on, will these experiments succeed? Will top tier decks emerge that use those cards? Or will they all be kind of like too gimmicky and then end up not being that great, right? And then we're gonna see, right? And so, like, I think in the beginning they're gonna settle at a decent price. I don't think they're gonna be cheap. I don't think they're gonna be cheap at all, because people will try to play with them. But then what happens after is the question, right? Like, if people have success with it, they might go even higher. If people don't have success with it, they'll probably drop a significant amount, just like what happened with Revolution Synchron. And that's my advice on the Horus cards. And now you guys can go ahead and do the exact opposites, as we always do, because I'm terrible at giving you guys that kind of advice. But that's what I'm thinking of the Horus cards in general. Yeah, all right. I think that is going to be it for today. I'm gonna send you guys over to MBT. You guys are gonna do me a favor and spam Ratio in MBT's chat, because I ratioed MBT on Twitter this weekend, and he's deleted his tweet. So we're all gonna go there and ratio MBT right now as we speak. And I'm gonna thank you guys so much for watching. It was lovely seeing all the people at YCS Dortmund that said hi to me. Thank you for that. Thank you for all the support today. Thank you for everyone for watching, and I will be back tomorrow. And yeah, you guys have